Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome to the Ask the Elephant for December 2020. Thank God this year's almost done, huh? Yeah, what a fun one this has been. Anyway, I hope everyone's having a great day. We had a massive snowstorm. Legitimately, this is either the biggest snowstorm or the second biggest snowstorm I've ever been a part of or had happen to me, whatever, including Colorado. So yeah, this is a big one. It's over my boots. I mean, it's upwards of 13, 16, 18 inches. There's a lot of snow out there. Lincoln and Cooper lost their minds and loved it. Yeah, not so much fun to go out and walk in, but yeah, they're having a good time. So hopefully you guys are doing well. We still have power. We still have the internet. I stocked up for food just in case. Yeah, things are going all right here. Hopefully the same for wherever it is y'all are. So figure we'll spend some time together today, answering questions, hanging out, shooting the breeze. I am set up for drinks for days. I have mocha. I have the Naughty Vicar, which is like a fruit infused, which I normally, or it has like blackberry notes in the background. Anyway, I have some Jamaica. I have some water. I'm ready to go. So hopefully you guys have questions. I know there's a number of questions in Slack, so I will get to those as well. But yeah, hey, here's to an end of 2020. All right. So, all right. So let's see. Been a while. Yeah, it really has. It really has. So, yeah, we'll start with that. So I've been dealing with a pretty horrible bout of depression lately. Didn't realize it. If you've listened to the latest podcast episode, you heard me talk about that. That I didn't know I was suffering from it until I did realize it. And that was right before, literally 20 minutes before we recorded the podcast. And it dawned on me that, like, some days it was hard to get out of bed and just let yourself go. And just, like, there were days there was almost a week I never even walked into the studio. Prior to that, there isn't half a day that goes on that I'm not in the studio, ever, no matter what. And so, yeah, it was a really bad struggle, but I didn't even realize it. Had no clue. As you get deeper into it, it becomes easier to stay in it and to not think about that you're in it. And it's not a conscious choice. It's just something that kind of sneaks up on you. I wasn't taking my medication. I take I think it's called an SSRI, that kind of mellows things out a little bit. And I wasn't taking that consistently, and one thing just led into another. And with the holidays here, I thought it would be a good time to talk about that. So if anybody has any questions about that, feel free to, I'm happy to answer questions. Now, obviously, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a therapist, I'm not anything like that. All I can do is give firsthand account of all the crap I've been dealing with and how it's materialized. Like, I still love running the show. I still love playing board games. Man, it is completely debilitating, and didn't even realize it until I realized it. Like, I'm literally in the shower, and you know how you have shower thoughts, right? And it just, like, it was an epiphany. So, yeah, not an excuse, just that's how it's been. So, yeah, so it has been a while. I feel like I don't want to say out of it, because that seems to imply that it's something you get over. No, it's something you deal with. So I wouldn't say I'm out of it. I think I have it manageable right now. I think that's the best way to word it. Last week and a half have been tough. I'm not going to lie. I got in a car wreck on the 5th, I think it was. It wasn't physically really bad. It was enough to where I got banged up. I was going down a hill. I wasn't even going fast. We had it was the previous snowstorm. It was nasty snow, like that wet, terrible, nasty snow. I was coming back from picking up food for Jess and I to have dinner. And I was going down a hill, and at the bottom of the hill, it kind of has a bend, and the car kept going straight. Tried to pump the brakes, try and get it to kind of ease around the corner because I wasn't going super fast. And I got it to where the car was going kind of 45-degree angle and slam right into a curb. It messed up the right front tire and the right rear tire. And then I was able to limp it home, even though the tire was kind of like at an angle like this, the wheel was. The right front ended up going flat like a block and a half short of the apartment. So I was able to limp it home and then got it towed through the insurance company. Long story long, got a call yesterday and said there was so much suspension damage that they're going to call the car a total loss. Great. So Josie's been a really good car. She was a 2009 black Honda CR-V. And I've had her since 2012. Really dependable, really reliable, really good car. And I'm sad for a couple reasons. One, you grow attached to your car. You know what I'm saying? Come on, you know what I'm saying about that. Second, she's been paid off for a long, long time. So getting another car and a car payment, not super thrilled about that, not gonna lie. But I'm trying to see it as an opportunity to have electronics in the car. That'd be cool. Like I haven't seen, I currently have a rental, right, from the insurance company, rolling the super stylish Chrysler Pacifica minivan. Now, before you laugh, there's two reasons for it. One, it was the only car they had on the lot. Literally, it was the last car. Second reason, kind of really good for the dogs, not gonna lie. So that's good. Heated steering wheel. If you've never experienced the heated steering wheel, let me tell you, that's fantastic. My next car will have one. Anyway, so I'm looking, I have done like a super cursory look at it. I definitely want another crossover SUV. I've never owned a new car in my life. I realize depreciating asset, all of that. I've been rolling a 2009 Honda CR-V. It's 2020, about to be 2021. So I'm going to look into 2020 cars, not 2021, but 2020 cars, crossover SUVs. Super cursory, superficial look. The Mazda CX-5 apparently is really good. Obviously, the Honda CR-V, I know that's a good car. I've been rolling it for 9 years now, 9 years. Yeah, anyway. So, had to deal with the car wreck, got banged up, been going to the chiropractor. Amazing the improvement in quality of life physically that the chiropractors had. Now, I realize that there's no medical science that's, maybe it's psychosomatic. All I know is my back doesn't hurt. And if anybody has ever seen me at a convention, you know that I have, you'll see me like bending over at the hip or kneeling or something because I have really bad sciatica down my right leg to where standing or walking makes my leg go numb, my right leg. And it's really debilitating, especially when you're at a convention on your feet for 16, 18 hours a day. But so far, all my walking hasn't happened. And I've been dealing with this for 20 years. So, yeah. And the insurance pays for it because from the injury from the accident. Yay. And not only that, massages. That hasn't started yet, but yes. Excited about that. So anyway, that's what's been going on with me. So yeah, found out the car was totaled yesterday, which sucks. So dealing with that and just depression. So there you go. So I have not played a board game since Age of Steam, the last stream. Before that, whatever the hell the last stream was before that. So I have not been playing much by way of board games the last few weeks because I've been dealing with this and coming out of it. And I'm excited about it. Jess and I are going to play some board games this weekend. We're streaming Chicago Express tomorrow. I got to find it. It's somewhere in the library, but I'm looking forward to streaming that tomorrow. Let's see what else is going on with me. Oregon Ducks are in the Pac-12 championship. Hey, I don't care the how. They're in there. So that's tomorrow night. So Chicago Express is going to be quick. Just saying, the game starts at 8. Stream starts at 7. Just saying. My Cowboys are in abject disaster. Hoping for a top 5 pick. What else? What else has been going on? Yeah. All right. Before we go any further, though, on like show stuff, let's go ahead and do this proper. So in the last week, we've gotten 3 new patrons. I thought I would wait to add them because, so here we go. So we will go 1, 2, 3. See if we got all 3. I don't know what just happened there. There we go. 3 new patrons. So cheers to Nicholas. Cheers. Thank you for the support. Cheers to Pratic or Pratic. I'm not sure. So Pratic. We'll go with Pratic. So cheers, Pratic. And cheers to Ronald. Thank you all for the support, especially considering there really hasn't been a lot of content the last few weeks outside of the podcast. So I certainly appreciate that very, very much. So thank you very much. And for all the patrons out there that support the show, thank you very much. And for everybody that watches the show, thank you very much, listens to it. So yeah, check out the podcast. It's not just mental health stuff. Martin Fowler and I talk a lot about a lot of different games, and we do a pretty in-depth, but I'll be honest, it's not the biggest game, but a pretty in-depth review of Yin Yang, or Yin Yang, as you know we are wont to pronounce it. All right, so now that I have bought some time for you guys to write some stuff over there, I will catch up. So here we go. So Lincoln is whining. He thinks he wants to go out. He really doesn't, but he's whining. Come here, Lincoln. Come on. He's got his bed set up right here. Yeah. Anyway, Lucas asks, how you state on PAX Premier, 1st or 2nd edition? With the PAX games, what are your favorites and why? All right. So I haven't played PAX Premier 1st edition in forever. Like, it's been years since I played PAX Premier 1st edition. I am inclined to probably lean towards the 2nd edition. I've played that more recently, and I've played the ever-living crap out of that game. And thoroughly enjoy it. I still have yet to play it solo, but that said, I am thoroughly enjoying PAX Premier. It won the Golden Elephant Award for 2019. So yeah, I am inclined to lean towards that. As far as what are my favorites and why? PAX Porfiriana was the first PAX game that I ever played. I think it was the first PAX game, actually, wasn't it? I think so. And I'm partial to that still. I'm really keen on that. I really enjoy, obviously, PAX Premier 2nd edition. PAX Renaissance, I really enjoyed. Oh, God, I'm forgetting. I'm trying to, it's not over there to where I can't cheat. I can't think. PAX Transhumanity was fantabulous. Huge fan of that one. Loved PAX Transhumanity. Obviously, PAX Viking isn't out yet, and I've only played it on Tabletop Simulator, so I don't really want to say yet, but I think I'm going to enjoy that. PAX Emancipation, I gotta be honest, not super keen on that. I only have the 1 or 2 plays of it, and the forced cooperation to your own detriment, I'm not entirely sure. I really loved it, and there's convoluted is the word that kind of comes to mind a little bit from early plays of that one. So that one is probably my least favorite of the PAX series. So there you go. All right. There you go. All right. John Fleece says, hey, nice to see you. See you're well. Thank you. Just saw the snowstorm on the news. It's legit. Like, there have been a lot of forecasts. Oh, it's snowgeddon. And whenever I lived in Denver, I was like, could we give it a rest on the East Coast? Like, oh, it's affecting so many. Give it a rest. This one, though, this is a legit storm. Like, the governor is like, hey, stay off the streets. So we have been. Plus, both Jess and I are a little gun shy after the wreck in the couple weeks, a week and a half ago, whatever it was. But yeah, it's a legit snowstorm. There's anywhere from like 14 to 18 inches outside. It's supposed to be stopping in the next couple hours. It's tapering off for sure, but wow, there's a lot of snow. Hamburg in the house. All right, what's up? It's in the name, Steph Hamburg. All right. Any info about the Brazil game that keeps getting postponed? I assume you're talking about Brazil from What's Your Game? Nope. I'll be honest. I have had zero communication with the What's Your Game folks since around the time of the live stream for Madeira and the expansions. So since the Kickstarter. Historically, What's Your Game? Not the greatest as far as communication goes. But, same could be said for this guy. But yeah, no. Again, when it comes to 2020, though, I'm willing to give everybody a pass for the entire year. And maybe that's too generous, and maybe that's hoping people will say the same about me. I don't know. But yeah, 2020 has been uncharted territory. So I'm willing to give everybody the benefit of the doubt, and I'm willing to give everybody a pass for the entire calendar 2020. Because, let's face it, this has been a hard one on all of us. So have I heard anything? Nope. But honestly, that's okay. But yeah. Rocky says, depression hits discreetly, doesn't it? Boy, does it. Like, you don't, like, yeah, it really does. Back at teletherapy, yes. Not on a weekly basis or anything, but I am through the VA, so that's good. And on my medication, and it's helping. So it helps keeps things a little more even keeled, and not just with the depression, but like Jess likes to say I'm full on all the time, and I can be a little much for people. If you know me, any of my friends, or hell, y'all, I'm all me all the time. And it can take a toll on those around me because I don't have it's like at 11, 100% of the time. And it's a lot to take, and for me too. So this helps with that to some degree. So maybe it's now down to an 8 or a 7. And Jonathan says, sorry to hear about depression. Same on my end. It's no joke. For real. Yep. There you go. And Rocky, thank you. Lexapro, SSRIs. There you go. Because Rocky's much more funny and wonderful significant other is a psychologist, I think, is right? Not a psychiatrist. By the way, Jess has a meeting right now, so you guys may hear her in the background. I left the door open in the studio so the dogs can get in and out. So if you hear that muffled in the background, that's why. So yeah. All right. Daniel says, yeah, depression's one of those things that sneaks up on you sometimes. Hopefully you feel better soon. I think I'm feeling better now, honestly. I think so. Oh, Todd asked, do you think the change at Wormwood will affect their delivery of tables? I'll be honest, I know nothing about this. What happened at Wormwood? No clue. So, Todd, tell me. I'm hella curious now. And Mara, selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor. Basically, mellows you out. There you go. And Mark says, glad the medication's helping you. I had a bad experience with 2 SSRIs. One caused insomnia and anxiety, and the other just completely shut me down. I've had good luck with this, and I'll be honest, I don't remember the name. It's upstairs in the bedroom. I don't know what one. I take it in the evenings because it can sometimes make you sleepy. Mine doesn't. It doesn't. But I mean, it does have some side effects. I mean, what medication doesn't? But it's a reasonable side effect trade-off that I'm willing to accept. So. Peter says, having a wife that's been through that crap, I can completely understand. You need to put yourself and your health first. We've learned to live with sometimes canceling on short notice. Yeah. Yeah. So I appreciate that. And yeah, it's no joke. And John says, speaking openly about it is the biggest step in recovery. I've never had a problem with that. I mean, from the very first episode of the podcast, I've had zero problem being pretty open about things. And honestly, at this point now, I have a platform to use that has a reasonable size audience that I think hearing that folks are not alone and that other people deal with this, I think is important. And don't get me wrong. Look, that's not what today is all going to be about. It's not entirely just, I figure I'd start with that while I was waiting for questions. And that's not what the show is entirely about. But I also think it's important to address this. And I realize that this is going to turn some people off from the show or whatever, but I'm okay with that. I'm not here for numbers, and I'm not here to get rich, clearly, because I wouldn't be doing this for a living if that were the case. Am I doing it partially to be able to make enough to sustain myself? Yes. But outside of that, I'm doing that because I love doing this, and it's a lot of fun. And now that I have this platform, I think it's important. And so I have firsthand knowledge and firsthand experience with this, so I feel like I can speak from that perspective about it, and I think it's important to do so. So I hope that people are willing to give me a little bit of grace and a little bit of latitude when it comes to talking with that. And if not, that's okay. There are plenty of other shows that it's just board games and that's all you get. And I'm cool with that. This is my show, and it's how I've always done it, and I'm okay with that, regardless of who the co-host has been or lack thereof. So, Daniel says, I know you've had back troubles. Hope the accident hasn't aggravated, worsened it. I mean, it has, but I'll be honest. Oh my God, the chiropractor has done an amazing job of helping all of it. So, yay. So that's been awesome. Surround yourself with things that lift you up. That's good advice, I think. I'll be honest, one of the things that also has been weighing on me, and I imagine has been weighing on everybody, is I can't be around my friends. I can't be around people, really, you know? And this might be hard to explain or to convey without people thinking a certain thing, but I miss playing poker. And it's not the gambling aspect of it. Jess told me to try and limit the tangents today, but poker to me is a passion. And again, is it nice that it makes money? Yes. Is it gambling? Yeah, but it's gambling with positive expected value. But it's also very social. And for anybody that knows me, or I mean, hey, this just in, I'm an extrovert. I enjoy being around people. The way you see me on the show is how I am at the poker table. I'm not, Mr. Hood up, sunglasses. No, I am very gregarious. I am very me. Part of it, I would say 90% of it is, 100% of it is genuine. But there is ulterior motive there, because people that are having a good time and laughing and all that don't mind losing as much. So, because they're having a good time. So me being me helps me make money too. So yay. But it's also a competitive outlet that I also get in board games, but I can't do that right now either. And it's been a struggle. It really has, because that is one of the things that I am most passionate about as a hobby. Like for hobbies, I enjoy cooking and other stuff as well. But poker is a huge outlet for me. And I actually have a written contract agreement, whatever, with a local card room, with a Boston Billiard Club. They've given me permission to film in there, hand histories, like from my perspective. I have an agreement with them, but I can't go play. They're open, so I can go play, but I feel like it's irresponsible of me to do it. And I really want to be able to go and film and like start vlogging about it and talking about it. And that's a huge outlet for me that I want to be able to do, and I can't. So that also has been difficult to deal with, which only compounds things. And so Andrew Clock, he's been on the show numerous times, right? Good friend of mine, part of our local game group. He came by last night, but he came by to drop me off some peanut butter cookies. So thank you, Andrew. They are delicious. Thank you. But he and his wife they have their daughter, and they're working from home, and they've been very, very proactive and very safe as far as. Can you guys hear that? Somebody is whining bad. He'll be fine. That's adorable, though. He came by, we wore masks, at like a 10-foot distance, and just caught up because we haven't seen each other in person in months. So that was nice to see. So just that human connection. It's been tough. Really has been tough. So when John says surround yourself with things that lift you up, I'm trying. Like I'm still enjoying reading the Saga series. Trying to play video games, but like that hasn't really grabbed me of late. And board games, but again, it's either me and Jess or solo or remote, and it's just not the same. So yeah, it's been a struggle for real. Anyway, Jonathan says, glad that you realized it's scarier when it's hidden and it can get real bad without you noticing it. Glad to hear you're managing it better at this point. Yeah. And I mean, I'm not suicidal. I'm not having any kind of like crazy thoughts like that. Nothing at all. Just some days it was really hard for me to function. That's kind of and I'm not even talking about like work. I'm talking about eating, cutting my fingernails, like stupid stuff. Right. But yeah. Okay, so this is probably going to sound stupid, but I think this is a sign that I'm coming out of things, okay? So let me explain. So I have a lot of tea. You guys know I am a huge, not tea snob, but big fan of tea, right? The Naughty Vicar. This stuff is so unique. It is really good. Anyway, so one thing I noticed is when I was in the depths of my depression, I wouldn't drink any decent tea. I was only drinking bag tea, right? Which is fine. I enjoy my bag tea. I'm not a snob. But it was a step too far, and it was more effort than I was willing to take or willing to make. And today, these are both loose leaf teas. So that's a good sign to me. I realize that probably sounds really stupid and like trivial and whatever, but that is a sign to myself that things are on the mend. So that's good. And yes, Gooserino, 2020 going out with a bang. I'm telling you, man. Whew. Kurt says, we've got our 2010 CRV in exactly the same position. I'm hoping we can snag another year or two out of it. I want Bluetooth so bad. I want a heated steering wheel. I'm not lying. That is a really big deal now, because my hands get, for a big dude, my hands and my feet get really, really cold, really easy. I get that from my mom, poor circulation, I guess. But yeah, so that's really nice. I like backup camera. I don't trust them. I just don't. I have to turn back and look where I just don't trust them. But the biggest thing to me is road noise. As I get older, road noise is a huge deal. I want a solid, quiet, silent environment. Bluetooth would be nice though, yes. So yeah, so I'm looking at being a first owner of a car because I've never done that. I have a deposit for the car, which is basically the check I'm getting for Josie. And yeah, so I have the rental car until the 29th. They might be able to buy me a couple extra days, they said, so because they realize that 3 days isn't going to be enough time, especially over the holidays. But hey, discount time of year, so maybe that. And I was going to get new tires next year, so again, I'm trying to look at the positives, but man, that was a durable car. It was a great car. So yeah. Yeah, Daniel says heated steering wheel and heated seats are game changers. Yeah. And Peter, see, I think this is a European versus American thing. Peter says, actually, I don't know. A car is just utility for me. All I know is I need a reliable car to take me from A to B as cheap as possible. Keyword reliable. Have a couple of bad experiences. I agree. Reliable is number one for me. 100%. Functional would be number two, and then everything else is gravy. But I think Americans have a special love affair with their cars, more so than a lot of Europeans. And maybe that is a gross generalization, but I feel like that's the case. I'm curious if that, yeah, I'm curious, because I think so. I learned how to drive a stick in a 67 Mustang. So, all right, let me fix that. Hold on. There we go. All right, cool. Steph says, glad to hear you feeling better. Thank you. We are in hard lockdown mode again here in Hamburg. Nearly everything's closed. Very probable until the end of January. Luckily, we're allowed to go out. We're allowed to go out. Like, masks are mandatory if you were in public. So even when walking the dogs or at the dog park, which, by the way, Lincoln had just learned how to play with other dogs last week. That's awesome. But mandatory masks, even if you're not around people. And I'll be honest, the temperature's in the teens, low 20s right now. I see it as like a windbreaker for your face. I welcome it. So I think that's a positive. We're allowed to go out, but it, like I said, the car. In fact, let me give you an example. Like I'm looking up the app right now for the poker rooms to give you context. Now, the snowstorm has probably nipped a lot of that in the bud right now, because, I mean, probably not a lot of rack players going out and playing poker after 16, 18 inches of snow. But yeah, the poker rooms are open around here, but it just doesn't feel responsible to go. But God, it's killing me. It really, really is. So when that comes up, I'll show you guys, or I'll explain. Jonathan says, I like the look of the Mazda, definitely. It's about reliability. It looks sharp, not gonna lie. Looks good. Yeah. And JT says, I went to the chiropractor yesterday. No judgment here. Hey, whatever helps you, do. You know what I mean? I mean, maybe less so for like drugs and alcohol, but you get the idea. So Boston Billiard Club currently, right now, has only 2 tables going, but they do have tables going, is the point. Chasers, which is not nearly as good, and it's dirty, it's not, they don't enforce masks. They do at Boston Billiard Club. Everybody must keep your mask on. It has to cover your nose and mouth, the whole 9 yards. They have 4 tables going. So my point is, even in the midst of a snowstorm, in the middle of a pandemic, poker's still going on. And I miss it a lot. It's killing me. But trying to be responsible. All right. John says, can you share what has the chiropractor been doing? I have sciatica. Or is that is that how you pronounce it? Anyway, basically, I have a congenital narrowing of my spine towards the bottom of my spine, which contributes to it. Plus, just years in the Marine Corps hasn't helped. And a herniated disc in my back. So, right? And I actually got the herniated disc from helping a lady push her car off the ice during an ice storm in South Carolina in early 2000s. So yeah, I've been dealing with that. I do regular back exercises, so it's under control. Would chiropractor make a difference? Look, I am not going to say it would be good for you or not. hard stop. But what has she been doing? So apparently, anatomy lesson 101, my hips were kind of like this, kind of. Like one tilted forward, one tilted back. And she adjusted my hips, she adjusts my back, and she adjusts my neck. And I'll be honest, I was terrified of her adjusting my neck because, right? I don't want her to break my neck. It's scary to me. But she also stretches and, for lack of a better way to describe it, massages. Like there these muscles underneath your diaphragm, like way in your back, but she gets at them from the front. And she uses some things, some tools that like help. I don't know. And then she adjusts me, like literally, like back cracking type stuff, right? But it's far less invasive than I thought it was going to be. And I'm not 100% convinced that some of it isn't snake oil salesman stuff. Some of it, I'm still not convinced. But it's had a positive effect on me. And my back, now it does hurt, normal wear and tear hurt, but it doesn't have the same, I'm not in the same chronic pain that I was in. I haven't taken Advil or naproxen, like Aleve, in weeks because of it, except after the accident when my back and knee and hip was hurting, and my neck. But the chiropractor really has helped with it. So there you go. So that's my impact or my experience with it. Okay, let's see. I am way behind. Shocker. All right, there we go. I found my spot. I didn't mark it. Steph, any news about dominant species marine? No. I need to, though. I keep saying that. Have I done regular physiotherapy before? No. Will there be a stream for Obsession and Feast for Odin? Yes. So, Feast for Odin, wasn't my fault. That's a software issue. That seems to have fixed because I was able to do this today. Obsession yesterday, unfortunately, was storm related. Like I didn't realize the storm was going to be as bad as it was supposed to be, and with the total loss of the car, I had to do some stuff that I wasn't going to be able to do this week, and so therefore that took priority over being able to stream Obsession. So basically, fast forward those 1 week to next week, and that's what we're going to do. Okay. So, yes, both of them will be. Okay? Whew, JT, coming with the hard questions. Okay, Tekenu or Teotihuacan? Which one would you keep? Let me think on that. I really like them both. But I think if you put a gun to my head, I think I would say Tekenu. It's not a slight on Teo, but I feel like Tekenu, and I've said this before, so I feel like I'm just reiterating what I've said before, it is a kind of a graduation of what Teo was, and it refined it a little bit. I mean, different themes, different mechanisms, the whole 9 yards, but you can feel the lineage from Teo to Tekenu, and I just think Tekenu there's less to manage. It's easier to manage than Teo is here and there and there and then here, whereas Tekenu is, okay, this area right there. Oh, okay, this area here. It's just, it's not a fiddly issue. It's just a better, it's more organized. There you go. That's what I'm trying to say. It's better organized, I feel like. And I think that makes for a better experience. So I would say Tekenu. But if somebody said, hey, you want to play Teo? Yes. Okay. All right. There you go. Oh, and Dan says, I was going to ask the same question as JT, but I'll add in Tawantinsuyu. I haven't played enough Tawantinsuyu yet. And I really enjoyed that, though. I'm kind of champing at the bit. See what I did there? To play more Tawantinsuyu as well. So I don't feel qualified to answer that one definitively. I want to play more of all three, but I would argue that I want to play Tawantinsuyu and Tekenu more than Teo, but Teo is also the oldest, and I've played that the most. So that kind of makes sense. So it's not really an apples to apples comparison. I can't say yet, but there's enough for me to want to explore in Tawantinsuyu to play it more. Same with Tekenu. And Teo, I've played the crap out of, so that is good as well. Being Jess's favorite game, do I know anything about the Gangopolis reprint? Not yet. Again, I've kind of been out of the loop the last month. You know, for as graceful an animal as a greyhound is, and Lincoln is a graceful greyhound, except when he's going downstairs. So, Lincoln, come here. Wow, he's throwing a fit like he hasn't before. Greyhounds are only about this wide. When he goes down the stairs, he becomes about yay wide. His legs, his back legs, it's hysterical to watch. Just saying, between you and me. Pretty funny. Shrey says, Tekenu for me, but I don't think there's much consensus on this. And I think that's a good thing. That's awesome. Steph says, I played Coffee Traders online, and in the meantime, great game. Really liked that. I really liked it. It took roughly 3.25 or 3.5 hours, I'm not sure, with 5 persons, good length. Are there any rule changes planned finally, or is it more or less final that way? I believe that it's more or less final from that. I think so, but I don't want to speak definitively on the online module. So, yeah. Martin has the smoothest podcast voice since butter. Yeah, he's English. He has that advantage. Duh. Like, reading the Yellow Pages would be interesting. You know, or White Pages, whatever, with a British accent. Drew says, I recently bought myself PAX Premier 2nd Edition for Christmas. You didn't buy it for Christmas. You bought it because you wanted it. You're just using Christmas as an excuse, Drew. Let's be honest. Hey, Genway. It says, I love when Martin gave the intro to Obsession. That was all. Yeah, seriously. Really was. He's just so good with that stuff. I have not done a stream of Pax Porfiriana. Period. Hard stop. But I have not done it solo with Ricky Royals rules. I'll be honest. I don't know why I say that. Like I lie all the time. I don't lie. I don't. So I don't know why I feel compelled to say that. That's so weird. It's one of those idiosyncratic things we do that's just stupid. Anyway, let me try that again. Where was I going with that? We have not streamed Pax Porfiriana. I really would like to do so. And the fact that, oh, I know where I was going, that there's a solo rule set out there makes it more likely that that will happen sooner rather than later, because lockdown, but we're not we're not having anybody over. That said, you were not the first to suggest this. When I asked the folks in Slack, hey, what do y'all want to see streamed? That was brought up. So, yes. Janway says, I kind of want some of that snow since I'm not driving or going anywhere anytime soon. Look, if it wasn't for the dogs, I would entirely be loving the snow. Going out in it sucks, though. Janway, probably an unpopular opinion. I don't think so. I think snow is wonderful when you're inside looking out at it. You can always watch the live streams on YouTube that they have, or like 8 hours of like a snowstorm outside. It's wonderful. And you don't have to deal with any of the headaches of it. And Mark is correct. There's about a 50-50 chance in Boston for them to predict a massive snowstorm like this and for us to get almost no snow. Checks out, yeah. Shrey, I was out shoveling for an hour, still have a ton to clean up. Yeah, it's no joke today. Chris, with most of the HC streams being done virtually, have you thought about inviting some of the old herd to join you? Matt, Banker Dave, Sweater Mike. Sweater Mike, no, because he wants nothing to do with me apparently, but Matt, Banker Dave, Matt being Claker, Michael Brandt, Brian Olmstead, yes, 100%. In fact, Banker Dave and I have talked about that recently. Yes, that is in the works. Derek says, I still have 35 inches of snow to shovel off my driveway and porch. I hope you have a snowblower. 3 feet? Really? That's stupid. Are you down in like, I think it's Pennsylvania they got hammered. Daniel says, I picked up Rococo Deluxe for my wife for the holiday. Very pretty. She loves the game. Not going to lie, it's pricey, though. It's a Eagle Griffin Deluxe Edition. That's just the price they are. I'm not justifying. I'm just saying, you're not wrong. They're not cheap. But, man, that production quality, sure. You're getting the quality of the production. But yeah, it is not cheap, that's for sure. It's like coffee traders, not cheap. Ton of production value, and oh my God, there's a ton of stuff in there, but it ain't cheap. So I feel you on that one. Oh, okay. Gooserino says, what's your game? Has had a bit of a nightmare with the Madeira reprint, according to their updates. Pretty much had to restart production at a different factory, so they might be preoccupied with that. I imagine so. That sounds like a disaster. And that ain't cheap, man. Oh, that's horrible. Having been privy to the ins and outs of all of that stuff via Jess and other folks, oof. Having pets are therapeutical, or therapeutic, yes, except when they're raising a fit. Daniel says, got to play Kalis 1303. I have not played the new version. I'll be honest, I don't think it needs refinement. I think Kalis is pretty great the way it is. Not a game that I am always in the mood to play, mind you, but I would play it. I just don't have a copy of it and haven't yet, so I can't speak to that yet. Janway said, my cat essentially got me through the last half a year. I get that. Lincoln's been the same for the last 5-6 weeks since I've had him. And Cooper with Jess and stuff. Cooper's here about half the time, so yeah. Do I have some more details regarding Imperial Steam? Yes. It said it's from the same designer as Lignum. Correct. And it looks gorgeous. But I can't share them yet. I'm not allowed. So it's coming soon, and it looks really good, and I'm really excited to try it. I haven't been able to, so yeah. Super Mega Vega says, I agree with you. Everyone gets a pass for 2020 and probably the first part of 2021. I think that's a fair assessment there, at least as far as I'm concerned. Some of my relationships have been really tested this year. I think that's the case for all of us. Some have weathered the storm of 2020 better than others. It's been touch and go at times. So yeah, I get you. I totally get that. Lucas, Oath Chronicles of Empire, in Exile, and Cole. Will we be doing a stream on it? Yes, I have no doubt we will. It's not in the immediate future. Nothing is set up right now, but yeah, I definitely could foresee that. Gooserino, right, got to go sort dinner. That was probably an hour ago, so thanks, Gooserino. Hopefully you enjoyed dinner. Glad you're back and glad you're doing well. I hope this sounds supportive rather than onerous, but even if it's only in a small way, what you do makes other people's days better. Catch a rest later. Bye, everybody. Thanks. No, not at all onerous. You know what? On that note, I got an email 3 days ago, maybe. Emails always seem very personal. Not that this doesn't, mind you. Okay, because this is in real time. But I feel like emails, I don't know, like somebody had to make the effort to stop what they're doing, sit down at their computer, and type out an email. And so somebody wrote an email that basically said, hey, I really appreciate what you said in the podcast because it's helped me, and I think it's going to help a lot more people than you probably realize. And great. I hope so. And that felt good because, like I said, I have this platform, so I want to try and use it to help people with things that I can relate to. I can't relate to everything that's going out in the world, but I can relate to this. And so, and I have firsthand knowledge of this. So if it helps one person, then that's awesome, you know? So yeah, that felt really good. Not gonna lie. So no, it will never feel onerous. So I appreciate that, Gooserino. Thanks. Enjoy dinner, all right? Rob says, I'm always open about my mental health. People get physicals. Why shouldn't they get mentals? Fair question. You're not wrong. I agree. Janway says, I think this platform's great for those of us otherwise not able to interact much with others. Yeah, and it's not just interacting with me, right? I mean, it's cool. You ask questions or make comments and I can reply to them in relatively quick real time. But it's also the herd in general, the interaction that we have here in the live stream between not just me and you, but other, folks commenting, but also in Slack or, the community in general. I think it's awesome. And I think that really helps. It goes a long way to helping. Any games you're thinking about reviewing for upcoming podcasts? Yes. Give me just a moment. Give me a second to find, so I know we're going to be doing Obsession. So Jess and I, when I did the weekly look ahead and we were talking about that. Oh, he's shoveling the stairs. I hear this banging and I'm like, what? Okay, it's our neighbors. Anyway, but Obsession for men. That's what comes to mind for her. And for me, it's the 80s song. So we're dating ourselves. Anyway, But we were going to, we're talking about that. Let me see. We were talking about expounding on the shelf of opportunity stuff with the guest host. We're going to be doing top 50 of all time of right now. We're going to be doing some top 6 lists. And there was one other, I'm looking here a moment. Oh, right. We were talking about doing one for the search for Planet X, as well as other games that use apps and that kind of discussion. So those are on the short list of reviews. So I thought that'd be some interesting topics and games. So there you go. Okay. Jonathan, I'm so grateful you're willing to talk through mental health. I grew up with an amazingly supportive family and group of friends, but my wife, bipolar, OCD, and Tourette's, did not at all. Whew, that's rough. That's tough. So good on you both. And yeah, you know what? I'm not ashamed of it. No one should be. It's just we all struggle. It's just different struggles, right? Kurt, have I been following the Daniel Negreanu Doug Polk Heads Up Challenge in poker? Any thoughts? It's a pissing contest that I couldn't give 2 craps about. No, I have 0 interest in that. I think that Doug Polk is good at marketing himself, and I think he's really good. He obviously knows his stuff. Far better at poker, both of them, far better at poker than I probably will ever be. But Doug Polk loves him some Doug Polk. And I think Negreanu is trying to facilitate a facade. And that's one of the things that I've always said I could never do. Like, I'm just going to be me. I can't be a real person off screen and some kind of persona on screen that a lot of media folk do. I can't do that. I just don't want to. And I think Negreanu is really turned me off with that. I think the way he was, was a lot more genuine, and I think people want a lot more genuine. Anyway, it doesn't interest me at all, in the least, in the tiniest bit, not at all. I haven't even been following a lot of the vlogs lately. So Rampage Poker, Ethan and I are buds. He's local here. He's been doing a really good, and he ended up winning a bracelet, which is insane still to me. But he's local. He and I, like I said, we've played a fair bit together. He has a really good vlog. He's not great at poker, and he acknowledges that, but he's learning, and he takes the internet feedback and just shrugs it off. Oh, to be young like that, to be able to do that. So it's really impressive to watch. I watch Ben Deitch. I watch Raising the Nuts. I watch Andrew Nemi. I watch Brad Owen. I watch, Jamin Burton. All those, everybody, Mariano, Kyle Fischel. There's Kenny G. Some of the plays that people make, some are better than others. Not that I'm God's gift to poker, but I'm excited to be able to vlog. I'm not kidding. And to be able to get critiqued and to have people just cringe at some of my thought processes and some of my plays, because okay, all right, hold on. Here's the reason I want to be able to vlog poker hands. 2 reasons. 1, I feel like it's going to be able to give me a creative outlet that Heavy Cardboard doesn't allow me. The production value is not going to be stupid high. It's going to be here in the studio, whatever. But the main reason is I feel like there are so many situations in poker that arise that I'm like, I don't know what the hell to do here. I don't know. In the moment, and I feel like a lot of, okay, nobody really talks about that. Like, there are times to where my gut knows what the right play is, but I wouldn't be able to articulate in the moment. Sometimes my mind kind of goes blank. And like, it's just a feel thing and less about running numbers and math and running through the hand and trying to remember how the action went and trying to figure out, okay, well, I had him on this range of hands and then narrowing it down. Afterwards, I'm really good at that. In the moment, not always. And I feel like there's a lot of people that's the case, and nobody really talks about that. And I want to be able to convey that, and I'm excited about that, but I can't do it right now because I can't tell you guys to wear your masks, social distance, and all of that stuff, and then I go sit down at a poker table. That just feels hypocritical. Would I love to? But I can't. It's not the right thing to do. That said, they are 6 max tables, so they are spread out pretty far, and masks are mandatory. So I want to. Oh, it's killing me. But God, I do miss being able to do that. Anyway, all right. Sorry. Yeah, and Genway says, I'd say board gaming for us is a passion too. And while we're here on the platform because of social interaction, but it's a passion. Yeah, totally. And board games still are for me. It's my job, but it's my number one thing in my life, right? I mean, it truly is. So just board games, that's my hobby because this is my job, but I still love what I do. So I don't want that to get lost in there. I hope that's crystal clear to everybody. So, yeah, and Mark says, I respect that you're being responsible. Just because they're open doesn't mean they're safe. Limit your tangents, Tony says. Has Jess met you, Edward? I swear to God, that was my exact response. I was like, have you met me? So, yeah. Yes, Lincoln wants to go play in the snow. Tea connoisseur. No, I'm not that far into it yet. Martin and Shrey, tea connoisseurs. I just enjoy tea. And Drew says, I have several games sitting in shrink with the wrap or sitting in shrink wrap to open up whenever we're able to get together safely. That's what board games are all about, connecting with the people around you at the table. Yeah, and I've made this analogy before, but I feel like board games are a modern day knitting circle. And I know that's kind of like, wait, what? But okay, board games, they're constructive. They help work your mind. There's something that comes out of them, but it's also a social thing. Knitting circles, you're creating something, right? So you're knitting a scarf, you're knitting socks, whatever it is. So you're creative, but it's also social. It totally is. It totally is. I stand by that. Mara says, does the depression affect you weight-wise? Like with bagged tea, do you also resort to easy carbs? I mean, I've put on weight. God, most of us, I would argue, probably have. I'm probably 20 pounds heavier than I want to be, but I don't think that's the depression. Hold on. No, I would say partially. Because there would go days on end that I wouldn't do dishes, right? They'd just pile up, like whatever, throw them in the sink and that's that. So that was part of it. So therefore, I wouldn't cook. So I just try and make whatever's the easiest, simplest thing or have something delivered or like go through a drive-through at Wendy's. Wendy's is probably my weakness. Spicy chicken sandwiches, they're 2 for $5. I'm human, okay? And a Dave's double, Just saying. So, yeah, the depression has affected my willingness to cook, and I won't cook if I'm here by myself. I only cook when Jess is here. That's it. Cooking to me is an expression of love as well to others, and so cooking for myself it seems wasteful, like love yourself. I'm not saying like that, but no, that's something that's always been the case for me. I eat better when Jess is here because I cook. So to some degree, yes. And some of it is just living alone. I think part of it. And 2020 and the pandemic. I think all of those things are tying together with the weight gain. Which also, I can never say this word right. Exasperates. I think that's how you say it. It makes worse my back issues too. So the chiropractor helps with that as well. So all around winning in that regard. Fred, Chinese health tea can help sometimes. I mean, genmaicha in there. I don't know if it's health tea, but it's green tea. But we're finishing the Naughty Vicar first. I'm going to probably butcher the pronunciation of this one, but I'm going to try. Is it Hoisin? Says, have you heard of Healthy Gamer G? No, Healthy Gamer GG. He's a psychiatrist that helps streamers and YouTubers. I have not, but I'll be honest, I don't know that I need that because I feel like I have a pretty healthy relationship with this and with the show and with y'all, and for the most part, I mean, there's a couple of horrible people out there. Whew. I almost said them by name. A, I would have gotten in a lot of trouble from Jess, and B, why do I want to do that? No. There is a female in the industry, and there is a male that is just a part of the community, or the community at large, that I would argue are horribly toxic people out there, and liars, and terrible human beings. But I don't want to give them the bandwidth, so I don't. But I think I'm pretty good in just nowadays blocking that stuff out. For the most part, sometimes it gets through. But no, I think I have a pretty healthy relationship with me and my job. I think the depression and stuff is a me thing, and it has nothing to do with the show. How's that? I think I do a terrible job of running my business that is Heavy Cardboard. I am arguably the world's worst at doing my job. The business side of it. I think I'm pretty good at running a show, but I think I'm terrible at the other stuff that's off camera. I am horribly bad at it. In fact, I've gotten to the point to where I'm considering like just finding a way to hire an assistant to help. But I'm so far behind on some things, like I don't want the assistant to be somebody in the community because I'm embarrassed at how far I'm behind on some stuff that I don't want anyone to ever see that isn't Jess. Yeah, it's really hard. So it's quite the conundrum. So it kind of snowballs, right? So far behind that it gets to be impenetrable to be able to tap. So yeah, anyway. So there's that. Shrey says, the one car feature I cannot live without is the push button start. So I keep my keys in my pocket. Seems like a small thing, but I love it. The rental that I have, the Pacifica, yeah, Pacific, right, yeah. So the keys have like the doors, they open up on both sides and slide, so to where I don't even, so I get that. Yeah, I get that. It's kind of nice. It's pretty cool. Huh. Daniel says backup cameras are for parallel parking. It's amazing how easy they make it for those of us challenged by it. That's awesome, Daniel. And I'm not disparaging that, and I'm not cutting. I've never had a problem with that. I do have a problem with it if I'm in a new car that I'm not familiar with, just to be able to tell, where the end of your cars are, the front or back end. So if I'm in a new car, that would be helpful. But I've never had a problem with parallel parking. Knock on wood. So there's that. But all right, that makes sense. Okay. Wow, I'm that far behind on chat? Oh my. Oh, hey Scott says the car we just bought, the Honda Fit, has a lot of road noise, but we knew that going in. I do love that backup camera though. Okay, so the Honda Fit completely not going to get consideration. Road noise. Huge deal to me. I had no idea, but yeah, huge deal. All right, Jonathan, here's a question. What are the games you are most looking forward to playing when you can really play games with people again? For me, it's Dune. I've yet to play it, and it looks so fun. Huh. Okay, so multiplayer. Oh, boy. Struggle of Empires. That one is going to be really high on my list, for sure. You know what? I will be able to answer that better in just a moment. A moment. I have to look something up because I'm terrible at doing some of this stuff off the top of my head, as y'all know. There it is. All right. So multiplayer, more than 2 players. Let's call it that way, right? Study and Emerald, really high on my list. Era of Tribes, really high on my list. 1817, really high on my list. Or 18 US? I forget. There's a newer version. I'm not wording this exactly right, but a newer iteration of the 1817 side of things that I'm really, really intrigued by. So that would be super, super high on my list. And Blocks in the East. Versailles 1919, but I can solo that, so, but yeah, I think that's a pretty good start to that list. I think those would be the highest on my list for multiplayer, right there, yeah. And honestly, Coffee Traders. So somebody had asked me in the guild, actually, am I going to be able to do a full live stream of Coffee Traders ahead of the pre-orders being closed, January 23rd. And I said 99% sure yes. So about that. In fact, Andrew and I were talking about this last night. We were talking about just because I physically can stream something multiplayer virtually doesn't mean it's going to show well. So I might backtrack a little bit from the Coffee Traders thing because the sheer size and amount of stuff that I would have to manage in a 3, 4, 5 player game for that, I don't think is realistic to stream that and have it not become a huge slog and do nobody any favors. Myself, the other people playing, the people watching, or Capstone, honestly. I don't think it'd show really well. Me trying to reach around, trying to move everything and manage. Age of Steam, win some games, some Hollandspiel games, some simpler Euros multiplayer. I think that's going to be the best things that show well. So some of the bigger games it just wouldn't present well, and I don't want to do that. I hope that makes sense. Now, could we do it on Tabletop Simulator? Yes, as long as I don't teach. I've decided, I don't know if I've said this publicly, actually, but I've decided I am not going to do any kind of in-depth teaching on Tabletop Simulator or Tabletopia anymore. Hard stop. I've decided that's not going to happen anymore. It doesn't show well, and I don't feel as comfortable with it. And it's not a repetition thing. It It's not what I want to do, so I'm not going to do it anymore. Now, does that mean I won't stream? I will, but we're not going to do a teach. We're just going to give a very brief overview, and we're going to get into the game. That's what I've decided to do anytime we do Tabletop Simulator or Tabletopia from now on. So wow, I went, again, a tangent that you didn't even ask me. But hopefully that answers some questions that y'all might have had that you didn't know you had. There you go. Eric says, question, and there's nothing. Oh, wait, go ahead. Shad Ghost, get a Subaru. Can't do it. Subaru, I will never get. I'm sorry. I'm going to make a gross generalization that's going to piss people off, but I think it's true. Subaru drivers are the worst in Colorado. I absolutely detest Subaru drivers in Colorado, and it scarred me to a point that I refuse. Now, could I buy a Subaru and try and change that view? Theoretically. I just don't foresee myself ever buying a Subaru. I don't think I could. Will I test drive one? Yes. Will I at least give it the old college try? Yes. But I would say there's a very slim chance. Resale value is really good. But again, we're talking about a car I'm going to have for 10 years. So do I really need to consider resale value? For a 10-year-old car, probably not. Plus, in 10 years, is everything going to be electric? So this might be the last, gas guzzler I buy. I cannot afford like a Tesla Model X. I can't. And honestly, I theoretically would love one. I think that's a genius idea. But realistically, not right now. And I can't afford it. It's like $78,000. No. So, anyway. That one guy, Brad, not to make this about board games or anything. Just kidding. Love you, man. Thanks. Appreciate it. But I was wondering, of Off Your Dome, Lacerda ranking, glad you're doing better. I mean, Vinos has always been my number one, but I'll be honest, I enjoyed the Gallerist more and more every time I've played it. That has got to go up there. So I realized that Lisboa won the Golden Elephant Award. So, okay, let me try and here we go. In no particular order right now, this is just me thinking of them. So we have Vinos, the Gallerist, Lisboa, Kanban, On Mars, we have CO2, and Escape Plan. Any others? Those are the main ones, at least, right? I think I would have to put... It's been a while since I've played Vinos, but I do so love that game. Vinos up there, Gallerist up there, Kanban. I haven't seen the new version. It's supposed to be en route from Eagle, so I'm excited to see the new version of that one. But I do really like that game. I mean, Lisboa. So what does that leave us? That leaves us Escape Plan, On Mars. Escape Plan, On Mars. Escape Plan would be my last one. On Mars, God, did I dislike the solo on that one. As much as I liked the Gallerist, the polar opposites on that one. So yeah, that gives you a rough ranking. How's that? Okay, cool. Oh, CO2 is another. CO2 is above Escape Plan, but it'd be around On Mars for me. That's a fair point. Scott says Americans love their cars because our country's so damn big. Got to drive everywhere to get places. That makes sense too. Okay, yeah. Yeah, and Daniel says, I've tried Tabletop Simulator and others. Just don't click for me. Same. Oh, Derek, I'm a logger by trade. That's badass. I love Lignum, 2nd edition, for its unique theme and gameplay. Is there any other unique themes that you would like to see more of? I've always said I like risky, off the beaten path stuff, like colonialism stuff, This Guilty Land, Forex, because commodity or currency exchange, really? Yeah, I love that type of thing.
Space.
Apparently space, Jess says. Less so for me.
All the
but
space.
other themes. So I learned something the other day on that note, Ginkgopolis. Weird theme. But I learned that ginkgo trees, 250 million years old.
Yeah.
Didn't know that. Well, okay, yeah.
Dinosaurs, they are.
I like the theme of like Comancheria and, oh God, I can't think of the other one. Native American, oh God, I'm terrible at thinking of things off the top of my head. The Trial of Louis Riel. I think that was genius. That was fantastic. More of that, please, because it made me interested in the history. I had never heard of Louis Riel until the game. And then I learned about it, and I thought that was fascinating. I had no idea about that.
Some history?
Local peanut gallery, folks. She's done with her meeting, clearly. Okay, all right, so there you go. So I think that covers some. So Navaneeth, if a family member comes to you and says they feel like they would be depressed, are depressed, etc., how should the other family members approach that conversation? How should we handle it? Well, I'm glad we're keeping it light today. No, all right, seriously. Okay, if somebody came to me and said, wow, they're really depressed, that's happened, actually. Just talk. Or, better yet, just listen. Just be a set of ears and just listen. One thing that, I'm a fixer. I'm a guy, so I try and fix everything. And it's in my nature. It's just my personality. Jess comes to me with a problem. I would argue 90% of the time she just wants me to shut the hell up and just listen to her having said problem. I hear it as, I have a problem. Help me fix it. No. So, I'm aware of that. I just struggle with that. And my biggest suggestion would be just to offer to listen. But on that note, I would also recommend, and this is for me personally, I am not trying to say this is going to be good for everybody, because God knows that's not the case. But I would probably preface to everybody that if somebody comes to you and says, hey, I'm depressed, I'm struggling with this, hey, do you have a minute? I would, because it's my personality, I would ask, I would say, hey, do you want my feedback? Or do you want me to just shut the hell up and listen? I can do both. I just want to know what it is you're asking me for. This way I know, because it makes it easier for me to give that person what they need. And instead of assuming, saying that, asking.
Ask what they need.
Yeah, ask what they need. And do that. But don't do it half-assed. If you're not able to give them the type of attention that they're asking you for, tell them. Tell them. Be blunt. Be direct. People are too nice. And I think that causes problems. And I don't mean be an ass about it. I mean just, hey, I hear you. But I'm in the middle of something really important and I cannot stop what it is I'm doing. I can't give you the attention you are asking me for. But I will be able to at this time, and give them a specific time, and then follow up and do that. And yeah, I think that's what people need. That I would appreciate that. Let me correct it. That's what I would appreciate. So How would I address that? I would do that. I would be like, hey, all right, let me shut the TV off, or YouTube, or whatever it is I'm doing. Put down my book, like I'm reading, right? Anyway, you get the idea. And be like, hey, sure, what do you need? I'm here. What do you need? And then if you're going to ask it, you damn well better do it. Whatever it is that you're offering. Don't just do it superficially, because that's going to do more bad than good. So there you go. That's my answer for you, for me. And that would be my advice. I don't think it's a bad starting point. So there you go. January says, actually wondering if it's a stupid question because I thought about doing something online, such as content creation, but shied away from it because I'm apprehensive. Any advice on how to start up? Yeah, hit record. I'm not even kidding a little bit. 90, you know what? I don't know. I'm just making up a number. I would say the overwhelming majority of people have big aspirations. Oh, I want to create content. I want to do X, whatever X is, whether it's content creation, whether it's working out, whether it's learning a new hobby or new sport or whatever. And I would say the grossly huge number of those folks fail at it because they never start. So step one, hit record. Leading up to that, figure out what it is you want to do. Whatever you do, understand two things. Number one, it's going to be far harder than you think it's going to be. It's going to be a lot more work than you think it's going to be. Which leads to point number two, whatever it is you choose to do, you better be passionate about or it'll never stick. A lot of people start things for the wrong reasons. Don't do it because you're going to make money. I damn sure didn't start this because I thought I was going to make money out of it. I did it because there was nobody talking about the games that I wanted to talk about. So I started this with Tony. And you better be passionate about it, or else it's just going to be the latest thing that you start and just it fades away. So that, and no one can answer this question for you. I see this question so much. What should my niche be? Yep, wrong way to go about it.
There's a lot of disagreement with you there.
Is there?
Yeah, huge disagreement with you there.
Why? Okay, hold on. Since this has become a local Q&A, I don't know if you heard Jess, but she says there's a lot of disagreement about what part of it.
Here, let me plug in. You finish it.
Okay, all right, let me finish this. So anyway, I think you're going about it the wrong way because you better be passionate about it because it's going to be harder than you think to make it last, number one. And number two, figure out what it is that you want to do because that's the only way it's going to be, you're going to be passionate about it. I don't care about just talking about Kickstarter games, so I don't want to do a show just on Kickstarter games or whatever, but go ahead.
So I think you need to know your audience. I think you need to pick an audience. And so I do think niche actually comes into play.
I completely disagree about that.
But see, I'm a publisher, and here's the thing, or it depends on why you're doing it. If you're doing it just to create the content and to never make a living on it, make no money on it, and all you want to do is put content out there, then I think you're 100% right.
Okay, pause. Let me interject on that. And this is why I think that is the only way to do this and do this well. And hear me. I think doing this because I want to make money or I want to get free games or I want to make a living out of it, I think it's going about it the wrong way.
See, and that's a really good point, but you have to caveat it for that. It's two different questions. One question is, I want to do this and I actually want to make a living at this or retire and make some money doing this. Like, this is going to be a hobby, but I actually need to get something back for it because I'm not going to be able to afford to get better equipment or better this if I don't actually get something back. Otherwise, not only are you sinking your time, but you're sinking money. And I would really caution against that because at that point, you're starting to get into something that's costing you. And then it should not be willy-nilly, let's press record.
100% agree. But where I disagree is
I haven't finished with the publisher side of it. So
content trumps quality.
To get started, content trumps quality, but that doesn't mean that you don't need to have a focus. People have limited time.
Sure.
I consume a lot of content, not because I want to be honest, but because I have to for what I do. So in consuming a lot of content, the worst thing I see is when I go to a channel and it's just all over the place. And then I'm like, what do I even send them? And this is twofold. It's not just as a publisher where I'm like, do they even cover my games? Do they do them well? Do they understand this type of game? I'm not sure because they're doing a little bit of everything. And that's a little bit of an issue for me. And even as a consumer of content, if I don't know what your channel's covering, I don't know if it's for me. So I need to know what games you like, what games you stand for, so that I know if your reviews match my ideations of how gameplay should be. And so, yes, I think you have to have some idea of a reason for why you're doing it. No, you don't get to turn on the camera.
I tried. I was going to, but all right. All right. So here, you and I are saying the same thing, but not. And here, okay. Let me step back from. I said step one is hit record. I'm wrong. Step one is figure out what you're passionate about. That will dictate what it is that you just said.
Yes.
Because whatever it is, I don't want to cover party games because I really don't care about them. I want to talk about medium and heavy and esoteric weird stuff and war games and 18xx. And that's it. So that's my niche, right? Because that's what I'm passionate about. However, you know that. I know that. I know that, and that's the key. So before I hit record, I know what I want to do. I'm not doing it because, people aren't covering there's a hole here, so I'm going to try and fill that.
But
no.
that's a good benefit.
Sure,
if those overlap, that's fantastic.
100%. But you have to find that passion first, and that should drive it. Because if you don't do it, then you're going to become...
No, you're going to get burnt out.
You're not only going to get burnt out, but people are going to see through that bullshit. And people are going to not enjoy it's 2020. People want genuine. I feel strongly about that.
I didn't want genuine. But the thing is, I think that's what you come back to, too. And I feel like I'm an old haggard in the industry. And I'll explain why. Like, I got into gaming because of historical gaming.
Right.
And that was my passion. That's what I loved about board games. And then I kind of got off on a tangent where I was like, shiny games. And I went all over the place. I was playing Zombicide. I was playing games I didn't necessarily like. Sorry, Simon. And I was doing it because they were there and people were talking about them. And I wasn't really choosing what content I listened to. I was just like, well, he likes it. I should like it. And so I started just doing a whole bunch of stuff. And I got really diluted. I got really overwhelmed. And honestly, I just wasn't having fun anymore. And now that I'm back to focusing on the heavy games and the historical games and the games that I'm really passionate about, the ability to create content and the ability to follow up and follow through on those things is so much easier. So I think the advice I'm giving is be careful not to just jump in without having some focus and some idea what you're doing. I think in all things, games or anything else that you're doing, take a moment. Why do I want to do this? Is this going to be beneficial to me and my loved ones? Is this something that's going to drive my passion and enjoyment in life? Am I just doing it because I want my name in lights or I want to make money? Gosh, don't do that in this industry. Nothing is going to come of it for you. Way too niche for that. So give up on that. If that's your scenario, go play some video games and stream it on Twitch. Yeah.
Somebody had just said, I'm going to scroll up on this. Alan says, Edward loved heavy games, so he chose that. His passion chose his niche.
Yes.
That's exactly what I'm trying to say.
There you go. But yes. So make sure you say that.
Your passion will drive you. Mm-hmm. So that's what you should choose.
Yes.
If you don't know what your passion is, don't start.
You skipped a step, that's all, in the
yeah,
advice.
so there you
that.
go. So that's a long way to say that. Yeah, Alan summed it up perfectly. There you go. All right. So I'm going to get back to this.
I like that they know you so well. They can answer for you.
Yeah, well, I've been doing this a while.
You've really created a very good niche.
No, I haven't created the niche. I've just filled it, I feel like. All right. Let's see. All right.
I think if I said it that way, you would have argued the other way.
No, I wouldn't.
We're
I
like
totally.
Albert and Costello.
No, I totally would have agreed.
Is it Abbott and Costello or Albert? Abbott.
Abbott.
We're like Abbott and Costello. Who's on first?
All right. Can I was going to say something I was going to get in a lot of trouble for. So.
Yeah, because I said I was like an old haggard.
I almost.
I saw that. I saw that. To the moon, Alice.
All right. Let's see. Oh, okay. Mara, I apologize about my comment earlier, apparently. Says, Germans would like a word about the matter of car obsession. Are you kidding me? Stuttgart ain't called Benstown for nothing. Okay. I said Europeans. I didn't say Germans in particular, but okay. And I asked a question. I didn't make a statement. But I think Americans do have a certain love affair with their car. Like, I name my cars because it's a personal connection with my car. Tony, by the time you get to this, I'll be off. Got some work to finish, but may pop in later. Glad to see you in good spirits, mate. I appreciate it, Tony.
Fake it till you make it.
I did there for a little bit.
2020 is crap.
Biggest car manufacturer of the world, Toyota. Yeah. Oh boy, I lost my spot. Hold on. That's why I highlight. So oh my.
I think you lost your highlight.
There we go.
There it is.
There it is. All right. Kurt says, my brother runs the service departments for both Honda and Mazda dealership. He said he'd get the CX-5 over the latest CRVs hand down.
I'm actually, you convinced me. You
right.
showed me,
So,
and
yeah.
I was like, actually, for that price point.
It's cursory. We'll see.
You did.
But,
You
yeah.
convinced me.
Do I do yoga? That might help tension and pain.
You really need to do yoga, and Pilates especially for your back.
This has totally become a just show, hasn't it? It really has. Okay, I have not done yoga, but I have no qualms with it. Bite my tongue. Yes, I actually am interested in trying to get started in yoga. So, yeah. She won't let me turn camera on, so okay. Washboard Sam 1. Is there a Washboard Sam 0 or a Washboard Sam 2? And do you play the Washboard Sam? Because if so, I am fascinated by that. I saw a lady that plays the spoons on YouTube. She's a professional spoons player. I didn't know you could do that, and she's damn good at it.
I mean, I'm a professional smoothie maker.
I just wandered into this, and I'm delighted that we're talking back muscles, and so happy to hear you better. I appreciate that, Sam. Thank you. Doing better, yes. What kind of chair I use? So there for the longest time, we were just using whatever chairs we had. That's it. And
Craigslist,
then from there, got upgraded to Costco office chairs. And now I am sitting in a Herman Miller Aeron, used. That was insanely expensive, even used. But
you were in that thing 8 to 10 hours a day.
Right. And so I figure it's a good justification, business expense for, and it took me a lot of years to actually,
and Genway, there's also footrest, a little footrest down.
There is, that I use about 3/4 of the time. So I fidget a lot. And so, you don't see it, but yeah, I have a footrest that helps with your back as well. So, yeah, there you go. So, Herman Miller Aeron. I tried a number of them. I didn't try as many chairs as I wanted to, just because 2020 pandemic and I couldn't try as many as I'd wanted to. Like the Human Scale Liberty I wanted to try, but we're talking, these are like the Cadillac of chairs.
I actually just got the GT Racing.
I hate those chairs with a passion.
They look like a video game chair.
I never found one that was comfortable.
It's fantastic for me.
Okay. She's short, too.
Yes, I am shorter, and so that makes it actually really hard to find a chair because my feet never touch the ground. So this little footrest comes in handy. But the GT Racing actually is having a huge end of year sale right now. So they're super cheap and I highly recommend.
All right. So apparently, yeah, well, you guys in Germany do have the Autobahn. I remember driving something like 180 kilometers an hour on the Autobahn and getting passed by like soccer moms. And just like, it was insane.
Do you know how fast the fastest car has ever traveled? Take a guess. I just had to look this up on Alexa the other day.
All ears.
Over 700 miles per hour.
That's not a car. That's a rocket.
Apparently.
It's a rocket.
I know. Isn't that amazing, though? Can you imagine the G-force on that as you're trying to drive? Was it like self-driving?
How's your coffee today?
He always invites me in here. Come down. Spend time with me. Sit. And then he's like...
Well, she won't be on camera, so it's a little weird.
It's not weird at all. I'm a disembodied voice.
You are. Oh.
That's usually... Who always sits at the end and is the disembodied voice?
Andrew, because he's the tallest.
Yes. I used to like Andrew.
Dual gauge live play coming up, Christopher asks. Andrew and I were talking about this last night. He just got a copy of it, so that's entirely possible. Yes. Okay, and Washboard Sam says, Genway, my back was saved by a steel case buoy chair. So there you go. Human Scale, Steel Case, and Herman Miller are kind of the three main, like, Cadillac of office chair type. If you're going to be sitting a lot, those tend to be the big ones, name-wise, that I am familiar with. Ben, just joined, so sorry if it's been answered. Any plans to do Trans-Siberian Railroad when it comes in? Yes, 100%. It's coming from Rio Grande Games. They're a partner of ours. Yes, that is 100% going to happen. Navaneeth, percent chance. Ooh, he wants a percent chance of a playthrough of Anachrony, Greenland, Neanderthal in the next 6 months. Greenland, Neanderthal, and Biogenesis, 100% chance. Anachrony, whenever the new rule set and everything is done, whenever that is, that will be happening, especially with the solo. So if it's done in that time frame and I get a copy of it, then I would say it's extraordinarily high, 90+%, if it's done in that time frame.
You know David would play that with you remotely,
yeah. So, in fact, he's offered to do so.
Yeah, he's fantastic. But yeah, Greenland and Neanderthal just had their mobile apps launched too. So if anybody in Navaneeth, if you're looking to play it online, you can play it.
International Marketing Director for Ion Game Design sitting across the table from me. Just saying. Guy says, and I know it's not Guy, it's Guy. Good to see you safe and sound. I appreciate it. Thank you. Joining the herd has really opened up my eyes to themes and level of complexity I didn't think I'd enjoy. How has the community influenced your relationship with board games and your taste in them? I would argue that my tastes have not changed hardly at all since I started. I have, let me step back from that a little bit. I've gotten away from like a lot of Uwe Rosenberg games because he has gone wider and I wanted narrower, and so he and I have diverted a bit. Stefan Feld I've kind of gone away from, but the medium and heavy strategy games, war games in 18xx, and the esoteric stuff, I still enjoy. I'm an omni gamer within that realm that I just listed. I would argue that more of the herd has become more narrow than what I have. And that has hurt in some regards because I feel like a lot of people are like, oh, you need to do more just weird, esoteric stuff because that's what I'm into. Well, the show's focus has always been medium and heavy war games in 18xx. And even though mine has refined a little bit, it's still kind of an omni in there. So I don't think mine's changed as much as a lot of the communities has. But the good news is the community is ever changing and ever growing. So those that, I don't know, I fall out of favor with are replaced by people that are still omni gamers within that realm. So that's a good thing. But I feel like I hit on all of that still pretty well. I think so. I think you worry about that too much. And that is
just talked about.
100% true.
You got to do your passion or you're going to burn out. And it's hard. It's hard when you're following your passion and you're hearing folks say, I wish you do this. I wish you do that. I wish you do this thing over here. Because it feels like, okay, I'm not hitting the mark or I'm not doing. But they're the loud minority. And clearly there's a majority that are enjoying the content. And it's hard to remember that.
Truer words never spoken. That is spot on. Does Cerebria play solo? I don't know. Here, look that up.
I gotcha.
All right. We'll find out. I don't know. I would love to. Aaron, when's the HC Crokinole board coming? I will let you know. I don't know, but yes. Cerebria does solo, so that could be happening. Okay.
Not highly recommended. Best at 2 or 4.
Okay.
What? Wow, it's a high weight, Cerebria.
Oh, yeah. Did I finish any PS4 games? There are 2 games that I'm in the middle. No, I would argue I'm past the middle of that I need to finish. No. Number 1, The Witcher 3. I finished the Hearts of Stone expansion, but the other expansion I haven't finished. I finished the main. No, I haven't. I'm lying. I haven't finished the main quest yet. So I got to finish one of the expansions in that. I'm close, though. I need to get off my butt kiss.
I'm done. I won't go back to it. He slept with the other girl. I was trying to find the raven-haired lady and then just ended up in bed with somebody else, and I'm done. I can't. He's dead to me.
So there's that. The other one that I got into, and Jess actually, she kind of played with me in a sense. It's a solo game, but Detroit Become Human, to where you're an android.
That's really good.
That is a wicked cool game.
That is excellent. But I will say, lots of trigger warnings. So it's intense.
It is intense. That is true.
So content warnings, I think they handle it well. Really well. But if you're sensitive in any way to abuse or violence, then it is.
It's a badass game. Though it's a very cool experience, and you'll never see all of the. You have to play it multiple times, but I think I'm somewhere 3/4 of the way through that. I need to get on that. Yeah, and I want to start The Last of Us. I made it about halfway through the original Last of Us so that I can get into the second Last of Us, because I want to. And boy, what a disappointment Cyberpunk 2077 sounds like so far. So I'm glad I held off on that for right now. So there we go.
I'm still playing Moss on VR.
All right, and Final Fantasy VII Remake is amazing. I am championing it a bit to get into that.
I'm into that.
I haven't bought it yet because I have a backlog, but all in time. Not gonna lie. Again, there it is again. See, I don't know why I prefaced that way. PlayStation 5. I want one. Just saying, if anybody has an extra laying around and wants to send it, the address is down below. Just saying. Could. All right. Cerebria is cool and weird and beautiful. I've only soloed it once, but I think it'd be best at 2 or 3. Okay. Good to know, Jonathan. West Kingdom series games. I own none of them, so maybe at some point. And Cerebria seems best with the advanced rules, much more synergy to explore. A little flat with the basic game. All right. Hey, Tropical Penguin in the house. What's up? Oath Chronicles of Empire in Exile. At some point, yes. I mentioned that earlier. So JT says, so I pushed Mage Knight pretty hard. Did it live up to my hype as a solo game? It is an amazing experience. And I totally understand why it is as well thought of as it is. 2 things, now that I've had time to kind of think about it a bit. Number 1, it's a cool puzzle that I think is best done off camera, because it can get, there are so many things and ways to attack a problem that it's hard to, when you have people, oh, you should do that. So there's that. Not something you all need to concern yourselves with, obviously. And the second thing is, I think it can run a little long in a single setting. So I think Mage Knight is best if it's something you can keep set up and like do a day, like a day-night cycle in a single setting, and then come back and do another day the next day, or a few days after the fact. I think in bite-sized chunks like that, I think it would be arguably the best solo game that I've played for a multiple setting thing. But I think it runs a little long for a single setting. Obviously, there are scenarios that run shorter, but you get the idea. So yeah, with those caveats, I think the answer is yes, JT. Daniel says, Oath seems like it needs 4 players, be a lot of work with one person doing all the management on one end. No idea how to keep the cards straight in private. Hidden information is going to be really hard to stream in the current world situation. So, yep, unless we're going to do the TTS version or something like that, which, yeah. Derek, okay, 35 inches of snow, and yes, in Pennsylvania. We saw on the Weather Channel today, y'all got hammered. We got a lot of snow, but you got more than double that. Trooper Jet, I'm in Minnesota. We have a 12-foot snowblower behind a 200 horsepower tractor. We have no snow so far. Will I solo Rococo sometime? 100% yes. JT says, before I go, Golden Elephant Award 2020. You know I'm not going to answer this, but on Mars, Imperial Struggle, This War Without an Enemy, Tekenu, and maybe Caesar, Rome versus Gaul. That is JT's opinion on 2020. All right. Brianna, hey, what's up? I've got about 65 hours of Assassin's Creed Valhalla right now. Definitely not the best. Hello, whiny butt. You guys can't see it, but Lincoln is right below the camera right now. Sorry. Definitely not the best. Following the story is kind of confusing, and the graphics, yikes. But still enjoying it. Wow, Brianna, you know how to sell that. Yeah, I've heard mixed things about Assassin's Creed. I got into the first couple, maybe 3 Assassin's Creed.
First 2 for me, but
then
yeah.
It got very samey and very just repetitive, and I just, So, what are my thoughts on Age of Steam Scandinavia? Just played it with 3 people, and it seems very good. If that's the one with the ports, I think I really, really enjoyed that. I think it's that. I think we didn't stream it because I couldn't find. If it's the one I'm thinking about, I really enjoyed it. But there's a lot. I have not played more maps than I've played. So, Joe, good afternoon, Edward. Oh, good afternoon, Joe. Have a good one, Jonathan. I'm sure Jonathan probably has already left and come back. Haman, all right. Says, had a 3-hour road trip last week. Enjoyed your podcast. Martin is enjoyable to listen to. Apparently I'm, chicken
Martin's
feed.
got the accent.
He does. I can't compete with that.
No.
I need to limit. Really? Really?
You should try Australian. Can you get an Australian accent?
You're still here? And thanks for the mental health awareness. I'm sorry. Go ahead. What?
What do race car drivers sound like? What's their accent? We're watching West Wing. There was a comment about race car drivers. He's going to get mad at me now.
Haven't got your words in today, huh? Zing. We can zing back. All right. So, and thanks for the mental health awareness. You're welcome, Haman. Cheers. Have I gotten a PS5? No, Brianna. I'm just saying, angel investors.
Wait, did you send it? We'll check for the tracking.
Yeah, I haven't gotten any email notifications of a PS5 being shipped here. I'm willing. I happily accept. Some great camaraderie here in the community. I need to be on Slack more, Genway says. All right, then do it. Make it happen. When is the rescheduled podcast recording? Tony and I are going to record next week, either Tuesday or Wednesday. Life got in the way. I'm going to totally throw him under the bus on his end. Although
he'd want you to. We're the ones who constantly say you should stop taking the blame.
Okay, so Tony, he's like, yeah, I'm busy this week. So there you go.
It's fine that it was on Tony's end. He's not going to be mad at you for that.
Steph, are there any chances to see more Age of Steam streams with maps from Alban Viard? Yep. There's going to be a lot of Age of Steam stuff. There's still more than 100 maps to explore. So, yep. Super Mega Vega. I just picked up Obsession for Men last week. I haven't got a chance to play it. Would love to see a playthrough. We've already done a playthrough of Obsession. I haven't done the solo. It was supposed to be yesterday, but it'll be next week. So that'll happen.
Yeah, but we did for me, it's a good game. I think it's incredible for a first game by the designer. It's better if the people playing are really into the theme and can play up the theme. But yeah,
and if you have a Brit with you to play.
I would say it's a good game. It's not a great game.
Okay. Brianna says, oh, by the way, we play Calico. Honestly, that brain my burn harder than Curious Cargo.
I think burn my brain. Brain my burn doesn't make sense.
Who invited her? So apparently Calico, brain burner harder than Curious Cargo. Really? Okay. Have I ever thought about doing a Herds top 50? Kind of like the Dice Towers People's Choice top 100, but open for to just your patrons. We kind of, not to the patrons, but there is a community one that the guild does. But you know what? Yes, I love that idea, and yes, we're going to do that. Yes. So, good call, Derek. Ken? Hey, what's up, Ken? Hope you're enjoying vacation. Have I tried Short Deck Hold'em yet? No, because nobody spreads it, and I'm not playing online, so I have not yet. My favorite Age of Steam maps. Depends on player count. So, God, I can never remember my all-time favorite one. It's the Heaven, Purgatory, and Hell one. It's from oh God, you know what? A moment. Soul Train, because I think that is the coolest theme for any Age of Steam map in history. Montreal Metro was really good. Say what you will, but the heavy cardboard at like 5 and 6 players is really good. We just played. Oh God, what one did we? The South China one, and on the other side of it, that was really good. Detroit Bankruptcy. There are so many really good maps. Go back and watch the streams. That would be my best suggestion of that. But that's a handful of them. And yes, I am going to be doing a live stream sometime sooner to go over all the maps that I have. There are a lot that I don't have, but the ones that I do have. Yep. Netflix put up The Queen's Gambit, Mara said. Decent show about competitive chess player. What game would you like to be the center of a Netflix show that would provide good storytelling? Huh. That's a good question.
Go with the history of it.
I mean, Go and chess, those are the obvious ones because, I mean, they're hundreds of years old, right? If not older.
Anything by Tresham?
I think the 18XX world, I think, would be the most interesting.
I don't know about interesting.
No, yeah. I do, because you could get, the original. I mean, you couldn't do it really right now with Francis Tresham gone. In theory, well, I guess you could, because it's not like the creators of Chess and Go were still around. But to go there and look at the old school, the Bruce Beards of the world and everything.
Keep in mind, she's going to like this contest and she plays against all these dudes, and they make it seem like they accept her, but that's the only... See, for me, there was like cognitive dissonance for the Queen's Gambit because the men marginally accepted her in the chess world, which is highly unlikely.
Well, and then you could get to the new generation that like has sprung up in the last year or two of 18xx players, that it's reached a more broad audience. So I think that would be a reasonable thing.
It's a good idea.
Another thing, no, I think that would be a turnoff. I was just thinking the World Board Game Championships. Some people take that stuff way too serious, but some folks really do it just for camaraderie and fun. But yeah, I think the 18xx world and how broad it's become in very recent times, I think that would be cool. How highly do I rate Roads and Boats? Does it still stand up to modern board games? Yes, on that. JJ Schmoon. I'm looking into getting it instead of some new Kickstarter hotness. 100% yes. If you enjoy logistics, go and watch the streams. It can be played solo or multiplayer. I think Roads and Boats top 50. I can't remember if it was in my top. It's in my top 60 for sure. Games of all time of right now. So definitely that. And I think it has legs. It's fiddly as all get out. Know that. But I thoroughly enjoy it. Yes. Oh, I have totally dropped the ball on that, Randall.
What is it?
I can't think of the name of the game right now, but I got to get you your game back. I have got to get that streamed and get it back to you like next week. I apologize. I'm going to make that up to you, Randall. I apologize. I will be reaching out. I keep forgetting about that. The dials for gears on the Ford Fusion is so hard to get used to. The Pacifica has it. It's just a knob for park and drive and reverse. That's easy enough. I've had no problem adjusting to that. Okay, Felix says the Honda CR-V 2020 is amazing. Okay. Shrey, I've had some great Struggle of Empire experiences. Just saying, I really want to get that played, but I want to do it 7 players here in the studio. I would love to do it. James, what's up? I really love my Toyota Prius. Super quiet and smooth ride, comfortable for my 6'7" frame. Might be worth a look. Noted. Those are hybrids, right? Priuses are, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 18NA or 18 USA, referencing the 1817 newer version kind of implementation. 18 USA is the one I was thinking of. Yeah. Yeah. GMT's Triumph and Tragedy, any interest? That was part of the impetus for getting the PTZ camera. And then COVID happened. So yeah, yes. Yep, Daniel? Mara, never a stupid question. Do I own a copy of Era Tribes? Yup. And once we're able to get back together, it's on the short list of games to be streamed. Yeah, a coffee trader sounds like a nightmare to manage on your own. I won't stream it that way. Sorry, not by myself. No way. Jeep Wrangler is the way to go. Okay, noted, Joe. Favorite Lacerda at 2 players? Have I played a lot of them? I'm trying to think. I did enjoy Vinos at 2 players. I don't think I've played the Geller's 2-player. I've played it like 3 and 4 in solo. I don't know that I've played a lot of them at 2 players. I have played Lisboa. I enjoyed that. Hi, Joe. Favorite Lacerda to solo? Easy. Hands down, the Gallerist.
Yeah.
Of the ones I've played. I don't know if the new Kanban is soloable. I haven't played that. I haven't played Kanban solo or the old version. But the gallerist, absolutely loved it. Navajo Wars, thank you. When I mentioned Comancheria earlier, that was it. Thank you, Joe. Hey, Brad. What do I miss about Colorado? So much.
The prices.
Yeah, cost of living, that's number one. I miss the mountains. I miss the hiking here better than I expected, 100%, so that's nice. I miss the mountains, I really do. I miss some of the people from up there. I miss Banker Dave. I miss Kleiker. I miss Michael. I miss Brian. I miss the tacos. I miss my house. I miss my house a lot, honestly. I just liked living in Colorado. I really enjoyed it. I really did. I don't dislike it here.
I don't miss how long it took to get to everything.
Yeah, it's a lot more spread out. Like, people here, like, oh, it's 30 minutes away. And to me, I'm still like, oh, it's 30 minutes away. That's fine.
That drove me nuts. You'd be like, oh, I'm going to the
hardware store.
I'll be right back. Hour and a half later. Where did you go? I just went to the hardware store and came back. Like that's
fair.
Insane. Because our hardware store is like a hop, skip, and a jump. Like I could see it from here.
Slight exaggeration.
Not that much.
Oh, the one that's on the corner, that's actually true.
I see it. I'm like, I can literally look out the window.
Armate, or Armate, I'm not sure. I think it's Armate. We'll go with Armate. Hello from Budapest.
Hello.
That's awesome.
Hi,
all right.
Budapest.
All right. So now we're getting to when Jess got here. Focus, right? Not niche, but focus,
that's what
right?
I said.
Yep.
Focus
Yeah, and what Alan said, already covered that. A stealthy Jess appears. Not really, but her voice did.
That's why I'm stealthy. You can't see me.
I do know about 18xx.game. Oh boy. Oh, come on.
Yay, hi, Jess. Wait, right there.
There we go. Everyone's saying hello. Mm-hmm. Catching up. Let's see. Upstaged by the better half, as I want to do. Michael, a shot of bourbon every day keeps the doctor at bay. I'm not sure that I would completely endorse that, but fair. People miss seeing you. Just saying. Okay. Oh, by the way, new mattress. Yeah, because greyhounds like to spread out. I'm having to upgrade from a queen to a king. So if you guys have mattress recommendations.
Tell them to get a purple. I want a purple.
So there's that. Stevenson's Rocket. We did stream that.
Yes.
Exactly, a rocket car in salt flats, 700 miles an hour, not much turning. Yeah, straight as an arrow. Exactly, thank you. Top 3 anticipated upcoming games. Not necessarily heavy for Edward and Jess. Mm-hmm. That's for you too. I mean, if you're here. I'll be honest, it's going to be games that are already out that I just haven't gotten. Versailles 1919 Imperial Struggle. And a third one. I don't know what the third one would be. I don't know.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Coffee Traders, Bloodstone.
Hold on. Hold on.
Upcoming games coming out.
I have a copy of Coffee Traders right there, so it's hard for me to.
For them.
Okay.
Upcoming games.
Oh, then Coffee Traders would definitely be up there.
Coffee Traders for me, 100%. Bloodstone by Martin Wallace. I mean, I'm biased there because I get to play these things and see them early. And so I've seen Station Fall next year is going to be insane. Insane. What else? Yeah, I mean, that's 3.
All right. The Shores of Tripoli. Let me... Oh, yes. From Fort Circle Games. I want to play this. It's soloable, also plays 2-player. Card-driven historical game, First Barbary War. Yeah, I know. Where? Any idea?
Door, probably.
Okay, yeah. All right, anyway. I mean, it's in the Marine Corps hymn, right? From the Shores. Yeah, anyway, yes. Sorry, distracted. But yeah, I chances of that in the next 6 months, if I can get a copy, I would say strong. Michael, I agree with Uwe, straying off the path. Thank you. I would argue that we've diverged, but yeah, he strayed. I agree. 250 kilometers an hour. How fast is that in miles per hour? Any idea?
Alexa, how fast is 250 kilometers per hour in miles per hour?
250 kilometers per hour is about 155 miles per hour.
That's pretty quick. 155? Yeah. Yeah, that's fast. Hey, Lars.
That's fast.
Like a marsupial, because they're fast.
That will never not make
Any chance of covering the vote, suffrage, and suppression in America? 100% yes. I want to get a copy of that and stream that. And maybe
I backed it.
Huh?
I backed it.
Okay. Well, I think Jess will be willing to get on stream with that. She's self-conscious because COVID, weight gain. We all have it. She's self-conscious about that, so she doesn't want to be on camera. So, but I think I could make that happen for that game. So, Edward in the disembodied voice, exactly. Any insight on when Iberian Railways, Southern Railways, Trans-Siberian are coming out? I will have a absolute answer for you on all of that on the next Ask the Elephant in January. Often the most satisfied viewers are the most quiet, I'm afraid. But the Slack at least helps a bit with that, Victor says. It's a fair point. Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay, Justin says Cerebria ego mode is good and intelligent, but takes some effort, i.e. for the solo. Yeah. All right. I'm curious about the new bot that comes with Anachrony's new expansion. Same. Hello, Alyssa. And Brianna and Corey did the same thing with Detroit Become Human. That like Corey played and Brianna like gave input and vice versa. Yep, exactly. That's a lot of fun. I have a copy of Heavy Rain. I got the collection from them, from Quantic Games. Is it Quantum Games? I'm not sure. But the creators of Detroit Become Human and Heavy Rain got the collection of them. So looking forward to digging into that. Any thoughts of BIOS Earth playthrough? BIOS Trilogy? I don't know if we're ever going to do one to where one leading into the other as one playthrough. That's a bit excessive, guys. I'm sorry, but yeah. Individually, yes. Mara says, also in regards to what Jess said about not worrying too much about what people ask you to do, it's hard to keep up with the vast amount of content you put out anyway, so fair point. Janway, this has been a really great Q&A. Thanks for Edward and Jess taking the time to respond to all the questions and the folks in chat interacting. Sean says maybe a girl stampede. You know, you could do that too.
In my spare time. I got a lot of games coming out to Kickstarter, which I'm really excited to get made for you all. But in order to make them well, I need to focus my attentions. And right now, that's my priority.
BAB777. I tried to find the episode for Habsburg Eclipse, but I couldn't find it.
You haven't done Habsburg Eclipse. You did do Autumn and Sunset.
Is that what it is? Okay.
Autumn and Sunset you did, but you never did Habsburg Eclipse.
Okay, well, there you go. I guess I need to fix that. Assassin's Creed Origins, fantastic. Well worth the play, especially if you dug The Witcher 3. Assassin's Creed Origins. All right. Okay, good to know. Horizon Zero Dawn, I got about a third of the way through, and then life happened. That was Matt's game back in Colorado. I have a copy of that. That is on the docket. That is fantastic. I agree. I love it. Oh no, I tried to buy a PS5. I failed. I was not able to get a pre-order. Just saying, somebody wants to, they can. And Alan says Calico, also quite the brainy game. Yes, Richie, Soul Train is great. I'm telling you, it's a fantastic Age of Steam map. Top 50 Age of Steam maps. Have I played 50? I don't know if I have, so I don't know that I could do that, and some are better than others. So I could do like maybe a top 10 of that. Brummy Rails, that's the one I couldn't think of. That Age of Steam map was really, really clever. Really clever. I really enjoyed that one. Daniel says, really enjoyed the Brummy Rails game you stream. Changes made it really unpredictable. I agree. Vincent, a little late to the party. Hello, Edward and everyone. What's up, Vincent? Is Age of Steam valid at 2-player? Yes, with a general caveat that usually what the house rule, but it's kind of a generally accepted one, is whatever actions are chosen by the players one round are not available the following round by either player. So like if production and locomotive are chosen in round 1, they wouldn't be in round 1, but indulge me. Then in round 2, those two are blocked off. And then it moves to whatever you choose. And that tends to make it better, but make sure that you tailor whatever you play to a 2-player map. There are 2-player maps. There's not a ton of them, but there are some. But it's not best at 2-player. Another Planet Steam stream? You love that far more than I do, Vincent. Ramon says, I sent you the PS6, Edward. Worried it hasn't gotten there yet. Podcast is top. Sharing your own fears and vulnerabilities not only requires big courage, also inspires and brings the community together. I appreciate you saying so. Thank you. What did you guys think of Beyond the Sun when you streamed it back in September? Beyond the Sun.
Oh, I freaking love Beyond the Sun.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, we didn't like the
variant.
Yeah, the advanced variant. We thought it took too much away and made it too plannable, and that was not necessarily a strength. And the base game as it is.
I think that is subjective, though.
I do too. I do too.
It actually can be amazing for some folks. I like that it's there. I just prefer it the other way. But I would play it either way.
Oh, I would
if
too.
I had people at the table who are like, nah, I want to see what's coming up so I can do a few things, I'd be 100% okay with that.
And I'll be honest, I like the artwork and the graphic design of it. I think they did a really good job with it. I think it's clean.
Some knots, and I really actually like it.
I did too. I really did. But then again, we like winsome games.
Yeah, I like clean and to the point. I just want to play the game, not, I thought it would, I love it. Yep,
as did I. Corey, just tuning in. Anyone ask about Merv? I would like to get a copy of it. So, no one had asked. And yes, I am definitely interested in it. Oh, God. Did it get... Oh, it actually is here. I am an idiot.
What's wrong?
Kevin, I apologize. I just got an email from Kevin. Shores of Tripoli. I got the game. It's here. I totally forgot he sent it to me. I am a terrible human. It's been a rough month. So I'm sorry. I did get it, Kevin.
You need to get back on your lists.
Yeah, I really do. I'm bad.
Without your lists, it's hard.
Yeah, so I apologize. I did. Thank you. All right. Chris, I will hook you up today. Brian, when I lived in Orlando, everything was minimum 20 minutes from everything. Yeah, I'm okay with that. New England, 2 hours, and you visit most of the states. 2 hours, and it's an overnight trip for a lot of people. It's, yeah, exactly. Oh, Jess, a question from Brianna. Are you loving Taylor Swift's new album, Evermore?
I've just started to listen to some of the songs on it, so haven't really dived into it yet.
Okay.
It took me a while to get into my folklore sweater too. You still don't like it?
No, it's
It's
ugly.
very big. It looks like a grandma sweater.
Well, it looks like it would fit me far better than it fit you.
I mean, I should have known because even in her videos, it's huge on her, but it's an extra small and it's like ginormous.
Kevin says, you're a fine human being. Don't worry about it. Thanks, Kevin. I appreciate it. All right. On the mattress note, Steve says, Endy, E-N-D-Y, is apparently fantastic. Beats out Purple and Casper in testing. Red, sleeping? Maybe they have better dreams or something? Plus, Endy is Canadian, eh? I threw the A in because Canadian. So, okay. All right. Adam says, really looking forward to Station Fall. Ooh, third upcoming game, Dominant Species Marine. That's fair, Steph, sorry. Station Fall's a huge...
on that note, Adam and Brian, yeah, if you... I know Andy is setting up play testing and such for Station Fall, but if there's anything in the lineup that anybody in Slack wants to play, feel free to DM me, because I'm always looking for players, so...
All right. Fango Wolf, Carrier Battle Philippines Sea. I'll have to look that one up. And Randall, Archipelago. That's it. That's the game that I have had this copy of his Archipelago for far longer than I'm willing to admit. You don't need to mention in the comments, Randall. I am a terrible, terrible person with that. Here's my question.
Play Archipelago.
Here's my question. Can it be played remote? If so, it goes on the schedule. A moment. I keep promising you this. I will have it on the stream if it's remote playable before the new year, Randall, and I will have it out in the mail to you along with the bonus. Everyone has gained the COVID-19. As far as the weight. That's funny. That's funny. Just got the cost in, Brianna says. Excited to get that one to the table. And there you go, talking about themes that are exciting because they're different. And I didn't know asbestos was a natural occurring thing that you mined. I thought asbestos was like fiberglass that you like man-made, right? I didn't know it was mineable.
I know way too much about asbestos.
I do now.
Roof. My grandmother's house had asbestos siding. Yes, it's a really terrible thing.
Oh, and great news about the vote game. I didn't realize it had been shipped to all the backers yet. Okay. Have I tried Lisboa Queen variant? I have not yet, Johan. Yet. Daniel says there are those of us still looking for a copy of the regular Dominant Species. You need to get a copy of that, Daniel. Although, that's another one I could stream multiplayer. Remote. Because, I'm kind of an expert in the game at this point, I feel like, and there's no open information, or everything's open information, so that's doable. Escape from Tarkov, if we're going PC. Okay, I'll look into it. By the way, hold on, what was that? Escape from Tarkov. And by the way, earlier someone had mentioned Carrier Battle Philippine Sea. Is that a video game or a board game? Carrier Battle Philippine Sea. Sounds interesting to me, though. All right. Michael says, Archipelago, great game. Better be ready to plan better as the end comes abruptly. I've heard that about it. Corey, Edward, did you know that Through the Ages has an app? Yes. I actually streamed it when we did it on Caffeine. I'm convinced there's no reason to play the physical copy now. You can play with friends, just saying. It's fantastic. I do know, and it's possible, that could happen. No setup, all right? But I like that. Is there a solo 18XX? Yes, 1862. And it's phenomenal.
Can you say that again?
Phenomenal.
Ooh. Can we play Crayon Rails?
Yeah. If we can stream it.
Yeah.
You heard
Want to
it.
hear play some Crayon Rails, guys? Oh, it's so frustrating.
1862. Fantastic.
I want to
Solo.
play some Crayon.
Brianna, Beyond the Sun just arrived. Good. Also interested in seeing Merv content?
Didn't we get Merv?
I don't believe we have.
There's like a pile out there. I think Merv's in it.
Archipelago doesn't work for us because my spouse will willingly lie about not having the resource she just took, Brianna. That's a happy home.
Is that
isn't it?
lying or gameplay?
It's lying. Ed the Worst. Hello, Ed the Worst. Does that make me Edward the... Anyway, correct me if I'm wrong. Aren't you a Canucks fan? I am, in fact, a Canucks fan. Yes. It's hard admitting to that where you live, right? I mean, we only hate the Bruins. No, I have no problem. Whenever I'm at the poker table and we're talking sports, I have no problem talking about my absolute disdain and hatred of all things Bruins.
The wedding?
Yeah, so who was it that got married?
My niece.
Okay, Jess's niece. I was sworn that I'm not.
My niece was getting married. We went up to Vermont. You've met the family before.
I had.
So this is the first time you'd been to an event. So
go ahead. I'll be right back. Go ahead.
At the wedding, and we show up at this mountain, and he's basically there's like, was it actually his jersey, the one you hate?
Oh yes, it was.
What's the name of his name?
Oh God.
Whoever he hates. Marchand. So each table is actually a player from the Bruins. And yeah, my niece loves the Bruins, and so does her husband. They bonded over it. And so, and when I say loved, like absolutely an insane fan. So we get there, and we're actually, luckily we weren't at the Marchand table, but there was like a Marchand jersey, and there's all this. And so he's looking at me and like opening his mouth, and I was like, it's her wedding. You cannot say anything. You have to bite your tongue. And so he did. He said nothing the entire time. Next time we got together with family, he let them all know that he had bit his tongue hardcore and that he hated the Bruins and Canucks and he loves the Canucks and all this. So for Christmas, he and my sister, my middle sister, they like to tease each other a lot. And so he got as a present from my sister a Bruins shirt, long sleeve Bruins shirt. So yeah, I guess it would be considered difficult to be here as a Canucks fan in that my family is huge into the Bruins, and he has to deal with that. But he got me into Canucks. I actually was watching them play and got really into the game. So we'll see if Edward's... Are you coming back?
Yeah, everything's taken care of. All right. I don't wish injury to anybody.
Except Marchand.
But if ill things were to happen to Brad Marchand, I'd be okay with that. Yeah, the Bruins. Only team I truly hate.
You were good
in
at
hockey.
the wedding, though. You kept your mouth shut.
For the most part. I did mention it, though. I did.
What happened to that shirt?
Burned it.
She loves messing with you. Oh,
yeah.
She also gave him
Who, your sister?
Yes,
Yeah.
Patriots robe.
Yeah, I don't wear it. She does.
I do. It's actually really, really soft. But
It looks really nice, but it's, no. And here's the thing. I have no ill will towards any other, like, New England team. Like, I'm okay with the Patriots.
Yeah.
I'm okay with the Red Sox.
That's my least favorite sport. Until I watched the Canucks. I actually got into that game, didn't I?
She was into the playoffs, so that was cool as a Canucks fan.
Well,
So
there
we're
were
working
some
on it.
dirty things that were being done to them. I didn't like that.
Yeah.
I got
So
mad.
there you go. All right. Okay. So cool. Where I lost? Oh, right here. Okay. No, I have no problem though talking about the Canucks here. Brianna, I don't know who you're referring to, Corey. I love that. Anyway.
Well, because they're
Yes,
us.
I know. Difficult but not impossible to play Archipelago remote as you have blind bidding. Oh, that's doable. No, that blind bidding I'm fine with. That's no problem. Alyssa, okay, don't be jealous, but I have to go grade actuarial exams for a while. Have a great day. Thanks, Edward and Jess. All right. Oh, did I see that right? Love the Bruins. I am a converted Canucks fan. You can't be both, though. You cannot be both. No.
I am.
What up, Christos?
I'm not going to start hating the Bruins. That's not an option.
Oh, Carrier Battles. Compass Games. Okay, cool. All right. All right. Fair. Derek, I think it'd be fun to challenge the herd to a tramway solo match. Just post the map and cards set up to Slack a day or two before the stream and compare scores. That'd be fun. Derek, email me that idea, will you? And we'll make that happen. I think that'd be a lot of fun. Good call. I like that. Victor, I want to keep a video of that phenomenal and play it every time I make a good move when playing solo. Was that a good move, Edward?
Somebody make that a gift. Phenomenal. Somebody please make that a GIF with sound.
By the way, it's GIF. It's not a GIF.
No, it's
a
a GIF.
GIF. No,
It's a GIF. It's a G. GIF is with a J. Peanut butter is GIF.
She's not wrong, but I like arguing about her on this.
About her?
Victor. Corey says, hey, Jess, Cassidy, by the way, it's with an A, not an I. But last time it was fish, but they must have been ghost fish because they seemed to vanish instantly once they went behind the screen.
Ghost fish, I believe it, yes. It's gameplay.
Genway, maybe we need to send Edward a Bruin logo or ugly Christmas sweater. I mean, that's the only time that would ever happen. Like going to a ugly sweater party with a that's the only way.
I don't think you can think of anything uglier.
Fair. Edward, you're welcome. Go Blues. From St. Louis Keith, because St. Louis Blues. Fair. Okay. All right. Hey, my Canucks made it further than I anticipated. It was a great experience builder for the young team. I'm excited about the future for the Canucks.
Somebody shoot us what timestamp that's phenomenal's at.
Stop with this.
I can get it on TikTok.
I can't mute her.
I'm putting it on TikTok.
And Christos, as a lifetime Flyers fan, I can't stand the Rangers. See, okay, there you go.
I mean, I hate the Yankees, but
Brianna flipped the table during Sekigahara.
that's fair.
Yeah. Red Wings. We'll get back. You had a hell of a run. That was. Blackhawk fan. Oh, Genway. Boy, I never hated the Blackhawks when the Canucks and the Blackhawks had their rivalry going. I just respected them, and I loved your coach too much to hate him. Ed the Worst says, thanks for the story, Jess, about the wedding. I don't know if I can sit through that wedding, and no, you cannot like both Canucks and Bruins, just saying. If I can be a Red Sox and a Yankees fan, no, you cannot. And as an adult, you cannot change allegiance to teams. Unless your town got a new team, then I think that's allowed. But no. No, can we stop with the whole phenomenal thing? I just really like 1862 solo, okay? All right?
Phenomenal.
Okay.
You better watch it.
Looking forward to the Feast of Odin stream next week. It's just the basic game, no expansion. And I've only played it like probably 2 or 3 times. And yeah.
Does anybody else think he sounds like Eeyore sometimes? Like, they're excited. They're like, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And you're like, it's just the base game. Don't get excited.
Well, no, because hold on.
Totally Toby.
Wow. Wow. For any of you West Wing fans out there. Vincent asked on Twitter the other day
I know,
about.
but you're like, hold up.
Well, he's questioning how much experience. I don't have a ton. I'm sorry.
Stop saying you're sorry.
Well, it's like I feel attacked. Sports ball talk, yes. All right. Oh, forever a Cubs fan. Sorry we can't be friends, Genway. Sorry. Cubs fans, no. Cubs, Bruins, Cardinals. That's pretty much it. I'm a born and bred Cowboy fan for football, and I don't hate the Eagles and Redskins as much as I hate St. Louis Cardinals, Chicago Cubs, and the Boston Bruins. You can change allegiance if you move and the town is in a different conference. Okay, that's fair. Or like AL, NL. See, like I moved to Boston,
yeah,
so.
but Felix says he's lived in New York and Mass, and he likes Red Sox and Yankees.
No, you can't do, but not on that. Not on like traditional rivalry. You can't do it. You can't do it.
And mind you, I don't know how it is in the rest of the country, but like I will have a perfectly good conversation with a Yankees fan, dressed in full Yankees gear while I'm dressed in full Red Sox, and we will just talk. Like it's not like here you get a lot of heckling. Like at Fenway, I've sat and associated with Yankees fans. It's fine. Nobody gets mad or, unless the person's just belligerent. But that's just belligerence.
All right. By the way, caught up on chat. Okay.
All right. What do we got?
So now in Slack here, Mick asks, "Hey Edward, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on the different games Uwe Rosenberg over the years. I know you much prefer his earlier works than his later ones, as his later ones feel more open, but games like Le Havre or Labora still feel much less tight than Agricola. Anyway, I know this isn't much of a question as a request to have you talk a few minutes about this. That's a fair point. Like, Agricola, I think, is his tour de force. I mean, obviously, I think that's his greatest game, far and away. Or at Labora. See, I don't think Or at Labora is as open as you seem to think it is, just because it has a finite amount of cards. The positioning, you have to plan for cards that are going to be coming later. As far as, I can't remember the words, but because there's adjacency scoring, right? Horizontal and vertical scoring. And so therefore, you have to plan for that. So I don't feel like that's nearly as open as you might think at first blush. Same goes with Le Havre. You want to be able to plan for being able to either ship goods at the ship, I think it's a shipyard, I forget what building it is, or to be able to build the late game ships. And you need to be able to have steel and everything for that. So you need to be planning to work towards that, but there's still some zigging and zagging that can happen based on where the cards in the three offers come out. So I think those are far tighter than the newer stuff is, like A Feast for Odin, or I'm trying to think of other newer Fields of Arle, stuff like that. So I much prefer the tightness of those earlier games. And the only thing that's keeping, in my opinion, Or at Labora being Uwe Rosenberg's best game is there's France and there's Ireland, And that's it. Agricola has 736,000 expansion decks, but there can't be a single expansion for Ora et Labora? Come on, man. So yeah, I'm still bitter about that, so that needs to happen. There you go. What are your thoughts on the various versions of Democker? I get the impression you prefer the second, third edition to the newer limited edition that came out last year. I know you used to like Democker, but game development has moved on quite a bit since then. So is it still a game you're happy to spend 4 or 5 hours playing? In my opinion, I do still prefer a hybrid meshing of rules from second and third edition. It is a 5-player and 5-player only game, and yes, I am perfectly fine with it taking 5 hours. And I am perfectly fine with the blind bidding being thought of as insurance and the randomness that comes from that. I am 100% okay with it. I think Democker, I appreciate the new version that came out, but in my opinion, a hybrid version of the second and third rules is a superior version. It's the version that I prefer to play. So yes, I feel strongly about that. But if you've never played Democker, I think the new edition, as the advanced game and playing it at 5 players with the long game, meaning the 7 elections, I think is the superior way to play it if you're going to get the new version. Yes, the standard version, which is I think only 4 elections, did not enjoy that nearly as much. Absolutely. All right, Blake, question. When is the next Top 50 podcast? It's been almost a year. I'd love to hear an update, although I usually lose a lot of money buying new games after I hear it. Well, actually, Jess brought this up last week, and we reached out to Martin to see about doing that, and he was like, I'll be honest, my top 20 isn't really going to change a whole lot, so why don't you get someone new? So we're going to. So it's going to be me and Jess, right? And someone else. I have someone else in mind. We have someone else in mind. But we will confirm that first, so sooner rather than later. Zach, what games do you think have the most impact on heavy gaming? Bringing in new gamers, growing heavy gaming, lowering the barrier to entry? I mean, the one that immediately jumps to mind is PAX Premier 2nd Edition, right? Talk about lowering the barrier to entry. I think that is phenomenal. I haven't played 18 Chesapeake, but I've heard very, very good things about that for that as far as lowering the barrier to entry in 18XX. I'm trying to think, war games. I don't think there is like a quintessential.
Maria?
No. I mean, Undaunted Normandy, I guess you could maybe make a case for. Has done a really good job of lowering the barrier to entry. But I think you could also say like Command and Colors Ancients. I don't think it's a very complex game, and it teaches tactics and strategy as well as card-driven game. I think that did a very good job back in the day. I love block war games because they're mechanically very simple. I think the Columbia Games series, Hammer of the Scots, Richard III, Julius Caesar, 8 pages of rules. That's it, which is shorter than almost all modern Euros. For a block war game, I think those do an amazing job. So of the games that I have played, I think those would be benchmark games for that. Aaron, outside of Age of Steam and Brass, what Martin Wallace games do you recommend checking out? Tinner's Trail, I really want to try the new version of that. I have Steady and Emerald, both the first and second edition. Haven't played either, but I have heard universally the first edition, if you are the heavy cardboard type, the first edition is superior. I have heard, I haven't played, but I really enjoyed Tinner's Trail. I'm trying to think. A lot of his, Automobile. Oh my God, how did I forget? Automobile is a Hall of Fame game as far as, or right on the border of that. I loved Automobile. I think those would be really good jumping off points. So Tinner's Trail, Automobile, I hope Steady and Emerald, although it's very esoteric. And Age of Steam, Brass. Yeah, that's. Yeah. I also really enjoy. London, and there is one other there. Let me see. There's one other that I'm trying to think of that I enjoyed less later on, having played it. I'm trying to find it. A moment. Steel Driver, enjoyed as well. God's Playground, I haven't played yet, but that's also going to be impossible for you to get a hold of, so I'm not going to mention that one. I am totally not seeing it. Liberté, that was it. That's it. But I wouldn't put it in the same class as those others. What games are the biggest surprise hits of the year? Oh, God. Beyond the Sun, I would have to say, would be up there.
I don't know if that was a surprise, though. We liked it from...
Yeah, fair point. Okay, hold on. I actually was sort of prepared on this one. I looked up 2020 and trying to see. There's still a lot that we haven't played yet because 2020. Dwellings of Eldervale, really enjoyed. I was surprised at how much I enjoyed that.
Yeah, that was a surprise. I took a look at Under Falling Skies. That actually looks really good, and you have that to play. Okay.
I haven't played it yet, but I've heard very good things about Imperial, Spells and Steam. It's for train gamers that don't like trains. I'm going through...
Planet X. You didn't think Planet X was...
Oh, The Search. I think that... Was that this year? I think that was 2019. Was it 2020? Okay, that came out of nowhere, and I really enjoyed that. All right, I think that's a pretty good start on that list. Tokyo Tsushigi Market, I enjoyed more than I thought I would, honestly, from Jordan Draper Games.
Oh, what was the airplane game?
Blue Skies?
Yeah.
Yeah, also Blue Skies.
I was surprised by Blue Skies, to be honest. I saw it, I looked at it, I was like, eh, and then it was better than I thought. So, yeah.
What's the thing you're most looking forward to once everyone's vaccinated, i.e., life can get back to normal?
Can we go to Mexico?
Yes. God, yes. Please. Traveling to Mexico City and having tacos for 4 days. That'd be number one. Okay, outside of that.
Or going to Brazil and seeing Fallon. He'll take us on a culinary tour, he said.
Also going to be high on the list. Going to Essen, HeavyCon, getting people back at the house and playing games and playing poker.
Yeah.
There you go. What are you enjoying most about having a greyhound again? What is it you really like about the breed? That's a really good question. Okay, what am I liking most? I'll be honest, he is super sweet and affectionate, and more so than Asher was. I'll be honest with that. Surprisingly.
He's a cuddle pup.
He really is. He's a 72-pound lap dog. Not really lap, but he'll get right up on you.
He's a big baby.
He is. He's me.
I mean, you can't even leave the room without him crying.
Yeah. I'm okay with that, though, I'll be honest. I enjoy the company. I enjoy it. What do I like most why greyhounds? He's very expressive. His eyes and his ears. I think he's just handsome. I think greyhounds
Legal.
are...
You like how they look.
Yeah, I really do. I think they look very sophisticated.
You love how fast he is, too.
I do. I do love that.
He's like a proud papa at the dog park when he runs.
Like everything stops and everyone's just like...
Yes.
It's cool to watch him run. He started to learn to play. It's just his personality.
He does like to play. He's fetched a ball a couple times now.
Yeah, I've never seen a greyhound fetch. he fetches on it when the mood strikes. But yeah, that was cool. He's just sweet. He's a really sweet dog. And greyhounds in general are really sweet. He likes to knit. And what knitting is like he'll nip at you, like he'll bite at you, but he doesn't bite. It's just like right, and
Yeah, it
super
doesn't
gentle.
hurt at all.
Yeah, he doesn't bite down, and he's just sweet. He's just a sweet boy. Given any more thoughts to streaming games on TTS or 18XX? I've already covered that. Jason says, which games are you looking forward to most playing when HCHQ opens for in-gaming person or playing? I already mentioned that, but I'll cover it again. A Steady and Emerald, Era of Tribes, Blocks in the East, 1817, stuff like that. That is real high on the short list. Oh, and the King's Gambit, right? Or the King's Dilemma. That's it, the King's Dilemma. I am really wanting to play that game. How am I doing? And anything we could help with. I want to hire an assistant, but I really don't want it to be someone in the herd because it'd be really embarrassing to see how far behind I am on stuff. That's about it. What do you think of the barrier for new players trying to learn heavier games while essentially on an island? Manuals aren't typically geared well for introduction, and content creators aren't able to cover everything and create it equal. I dislike the concept of entry-level games. I think not every game, but a lot of games that aren't considered that can be entry-level games if presented the right way. If on an island, meaning during COVID, that makes it tough. But find a game in a theme or a topic that you're passionate about or mechanisms that you really want to delve into and have fun with it. And ask me to do playthroughs of it, and I'll try and do that.
See, I think it's a build-up.
I see Le Havre, I think, can be a great entry-level game.
I think it's a build-up in that when you're bringing somebody into the hobby that doesn't have experience with how to play games.
Okay.
That maybe has only played a Monopoly.
Okay,
Or
sure.
Scrabble.
Right.
Then I think the idea is find something that concentrates on the mechanisms in the game you truly want, these people playing with you. Try to piece out the mechanisms. What does each of those mechanisms the best, and has a focus on those? Play those with them till they really understand those individual mechanisms, then combine them. So that when they start to play, the best thing I hear is when folks are like, oh, this is like that mechanism from this other game we played. Then I know they're invested, right? I know that they're understanding what's happening. They feel comfortable because they've seen it before. And that's really the same for anything. If you can start and practice in these little areas, then you can move forward and play more complex games easier. Yep. And I think we forget, playing all the games we do, how hard it is to learn 4 new mechanisms at a time.
That's a really fair point, that we take that for granted because...
But we're doing that same thing. We're saying, oh, okay, so it does this crap like Puerto Rico, and it does this from this other game. And if you listen to really experienced designers like Tom Lehman, when he's teaching a game that he's either playtesting or showing us or what have you, he always references another game. And he'll be like, have you played this? Have you played that? And he's digging for your knowledge to then help you. To
help tailor the teaching.
Look at this game and understand what's happening from experience. So I think we forget that as experienced gamers. And sure, any game can be played by anyone, but that doesn't mean they're going to enjoy it if they're reaching too far from their personal experience in gaming.
All fair points. There you go. Daniel, since you keep bringing up the Cowboys, go Steelers. I was born in 75, so I don't have as much hatred for the Steelers. We should have won that game, though, just saying. Brian, see, this is a true fan. I hate the Yankees more than I love my own team. And Sean.
I think that's a lot of people, though. I mean, the Yankees are just a money team.
Well, fair. You're not wrong. A lot of people would say that about the Red Sox too, though. Most Reds fans
We won't
hate
talk about
Cards
that. He
fans.
spends a lot of money on yachts. Don't worry about it.
Reds fan here with a family full of Cards fans. I feel for you, Sean. Hug. Come here. It's safe here. It's a safe space for you. I'll take phenomenal for 200, Ken.
Phenomenal.
Unless you're a Knicks fan, it's such a gruesome life experience to be a Knicks fan. They're allowed to change teams. No judgment. Jonathan, definitely went with the Mosquito second edition of DMocker. Need to find those hybrid rules. It's more or less an agreement of I need to talk about that sometime and talk about the rules that why I feel this way or that about DMocker. I need to do another follow-up on DMocker. That would actually be really good. Has Shrey appeared on a podcast? No, he is not. He is welcome to if he would like to. Adam, fingers crossed for Andy Mesa to join you for a top 50 podcast. I don't know if I could handle that. I'll be honest. I don't know. Iron Rail series, yes, for streaming. Yeah, Memoir 44 lowered the bar to entry for war games, but I would put Command & Colors Ancients, but minis, right, with Memoir 44. Mm-hmm. Fair. 18 Chesapeake got us into 18XX, Corey says. Played a number of games online, loved it enough. We have 18CZ on the shelf for a while, just never got into it. Now we will. There you go, which is a really good, another good two-player, 18XX, but 1862 for solo. It's so good. I forget, what do you call it? Oh, that's right. Phenomenal. I'm gonna have fun. Might as well lean into it. Hey, Luke. Australia in the house. Steph, love to see a stream of Age of Steam, two-player, Mexico City, with you and Jess. Jess isn't super keen on Age of Steam, because thematically, why are you taking the most inefficient route? I don't want to speak for you, but that about nails it, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I'll play it, though, but
okay.
Yeah, it's not. I'm not going to play. I like 18XX better than Age of Steam.
Well, on that note, Christos, point of order. Is Irish Gauge an 18XX game? No, it's a Cube Rails game. Apples and oranges.
Yeah. That doesn't mean it can't be an entry to it, though. Like, I have seen people play that type of game and then take it over.
Sure.
I think that that's something where you start to get the gist. And that's kind of what I'm talking about, right? Simpler mechanisms, get the idea, move on to...
But I would argue, I don't know that you need to do that. Now, cater it to the person, the individual.
You're forgetting what it's like to start.
Okay. So, Lars, Steady and Emerald, first edition's fantastic. Okay. Anachrony and Kalis 1303 look like medium-heavy games. Are you interested in streaming those at all? Anachrony, definitely. Kalis 1303, I don't have a copy, and I'm curious to try it.
Are you sure?
I'm curious to try it, but I don't know that it needed a new version with changes, because Kalis was pretty great as is. So, we'll see. Luke from Australia says, I find it fascinating. Non-Australians just say, let's go to a different country. We're so away from everyone here.
Yeah,
fair. Yeah. I want to go back to Australia.
All right. I flew to Australia with a 2-year-old and a 3-month-old in a bassinet that they gave me on Virgin Atlantic, because Virgin had just started their straight from Boston, or straight from the States, which was California, over, and there was a super great deal on it. So I was like, let's go. 20 hours on a plane, 2-year-old and a baby in a bassinet. And we caught a stomach virus on the way over.
Nope.
Yeah. But I loved it. It was great. It's like the zoo let out. It's amazing in Australia.
Brian, greyhounds are easy on the ice. They are very, very attractive dogs, in my opinion. St. Louis Keith, was he a racer? He was. Raced 31 times, won twice, but he won. He's a winner. That's all I'm saying. He's a winner. I want to see a huge stream of 12 plus people just to flex on COVID a bit once it's possible. Sure. they wouldn't fit in here, but I love the idea. I love where your head's at, Luke. Okay, and Jonathan, to your point, Jess, says, yeah, it took my wife a couple of years to be really good with playing really heavy games. Learning games is a learned skill. That's a fair point.
I mean, it's like saying, I hear what you're saying. Like, if you were going to teach me how to repair airplanes,
sure.
Could I learn on like a super fueled jet that has nukes attached to it? Yeah, I probably could. Should I learn on a super fueled jet that has nukes attached to it? No, I should probably start smaller and like work my way up. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, can you?
I understand the sentiment. I appreciate it.
But you don't have to. You could simplify it and start small and then build up to more complicated things.
Fair. Drew says, any advice for convincing my wife to play a Lacerda game with me? I have the Gallerist. I think that might be the most appealing. Hey, Drew, instead of asking me, you should go to your wife and be like, hi.
Are there any circumstances under which you would like to play this game with me? It might involve a spa certificate in the box at the end of the game, or maybe some wine, your favorite charcuterie. Like, is there anything you could think of that would make this an enjoyable experience for you, dear?
Not what I was going to go with, but I would go with that. So there you go. Not to say that's wrong, but step one, I would just go up to her and be like, hello, Mrs. Grant. I have this game. Does this interest you at all? Like, does this at all sound interesting? And if not, here are these other Vital Lacerda games. Here are the themes for these. Do any of these appeal to you? And if she says yes, go buy that game right away.
Yeah. You can't force someone.
You can't.
If you can create a scenario in which they don't feel forced, in which they feel like they're welcomed into a hobby, and if you're putting it forth as not, I want you to do this for me, but more I would really enjoy doing this with you. Is there any circumstance in which you would also enjoy doing this with me?
Yeah, there you go. Right, yeah. And then like start with themes that are interesting to your significant other or whoever it is.
And you may be surprised. I mean, yeah. I've had some people reach out and be like, yeah, I played Curious Cargo with my wife and she loves it and she hates all these other games, and I would never have thought that shipping and receiving was a game that I should consider. So these are things that, you could be surprised with. They actually say, hey, I saw this game and I'm interested.
So I get the question a lot whenever I was able to play poker. At the poker table, and we're talking, as I am wont to do, and, oh, what do you do for a living? I host the podcast and YouTube channel for a living. Oh, what about? I review and do playthroughs of board games, like Monopoly, Risk. Or I talk about games with unique themes. So I start out like maybe something like The Cost, right? Like, depending, gauge your audience, but try and find, and they're like, wait, that's a board game? Like, not a video game, but a board, yeah. And it piques their interest. So yeah, I find something that piques their interest. There you go. A little bit intimidated by Arkwright and Food Chain Magnate in that I don't want to have a bad first play experience. Just delve in. Watch the playthroughs. Read the rule book. Make sure you understand the rules very well before you get started, and have fun with it. Remember, it's a board game. Jonathan says, we played a few medium games like Viticulture before moving on to the Gallerist, but she picked it up pretty quickly. She's quite smart, definitely smarter than I am. On that note, that is, I think, the biggest, I think there is as much of a problem of going too simple a game as too complex a game for people. I think people sometimes underestimate the aptitude of other people, and I'm not talking your wife, your girlfriend, it doesn't matter the sex, I'm talking just in general. I think your audience, give them the benefit of the doubt. Ask them, do you want a more involved game? Do you want a lighter game? And help that guide, because I think if you go too light a game, that can turn people off, that there isn't enough meat on the bone. Again, I'm obviously biased in that regard, but I also think that's a true statement. So gauge your audience well.
I think it's also representation matters. I hear from a lot of folks, women will say, once I saw you playing, then I was like, oh, there are games for me too. And this seems like a simple thing because for guys, you guys see that guys are playing games. There's just no question here. But for women, there's not tons of women in the hobby. And so I think representation is a big thing. So
I agree.
Watch streams that have representation for them, or, when they see that, that might draw them in as well.
I think we do a pretty good job with that,
do.
right?
We
I
really,
think so.
really do. But
we try.
It's not, we could always do better.
Sure.
But obviously COVID makes that hard. But yeah, representation is a big thing. And it's something I think you don't notice if you're not represented. But for me, like Mrs. Marvel being, Ms. Marvel being its own movie, I was like, the heck? Oh, wow, they're going to have Wonder Woman?
Oh, yeah, I got you.
And then Wonder Woman 2, and like, those were huge for me, and I was surprised how much, so. Because I've always liked comics, but it really solidified, like, oh, these are going to get made too. That's awesome. Yeah.
Fair points. I agree with you. Shrey, I just spent another hour shoveling snow and you're still going. I'm not done yet. Hey, we're just waiting on you, Shrey. Okay? 2 kids and a stomach bug. That's tough going. Yes, that flight.
Worth it. It was still worth it. There was an infinity pool. We were on the place that we stayed actually.
This is pre-me, mind you.
The place we stayed actually had a mudslide later on with the floods that were in Australia a year later, so it doesn't exist anymore. But we were in these like concrete buildings, condos that were in the side of a mountain in a nature reserve. So there were cockatoos. Y'all have cockatoos that just fly in flocks up and around, and they're talking. They have
kangaroos that go wild.
Birds say hello. Like they have talking animals outside. It's like being in a cartoon, I swear to you. But I would sit on the deck, and these cockatoos would fly, and they're like, hello, hello. I'm like, talking birds.
It's a tourist area, yeah. However, I'm really glad Australia is an island because you guys have all the terrifying stuff. Like, keep that on your island.
Oh, and then I went to use a restroom. Like, we stopped.
I've heard this story.
This is funny. We're on this road, and we'd gone into the heart of the nature preserve. And I love that he says it's a touristy area because I'm going to give you an example of how touristy.
It's Australia.
They do not make their areas touristy. It's survival of the fittest. They just throw you into the middle of this. They're like, you're fine. And so we're going through, and there's broken bridges, and there's no sign saying, like, beware. They're just like, be the hell careful. The heck.
Common
just
sense.
Watch yourself.
Right, yeah.
And so we're going across rope bridges that are not safe and, like, all these things. With a 2-year-old and a baby. I have an couple-month-old on.
Good parenting, saying.
They're fine. And so going into all these places, on the way back, I got to go to the bathroom. Like, I got to pee. Really, really bad. So we stop. There's a thing that says restroom, public restroom. So stop, go to this. It's like a cabin-looking thing, and there's a huge sign on the door. First of all, nothing is mowed. This is your touristy area. The grass is up to my chest.
Good self-edit there. You should have seen her face.
I was not going to say
on my chest.
And, like I'm trying to walk through. So I finally get there, and there's a sign that says, be careful and check toilet seat for large wood spiders. And there's a spider picture the size of my hand with fuzzy things coming off of it. And this is apparently what I may accidentally sit on if I use this restroom. And I turned around and was like, no,
I don't have to go that bad. I don't have to go that bad.
I have no interest in going in there. If that is a risk, I must make.
I can channel my inner camel.
I will drink this urine inside my body. Like, I was done. I was like, no, back to the car, and waited the 45 minutes to get back to where we were saying. I was like,
do what you got to do. So yeah, I'm really glad you keep that on the island. Having been there, I've seen the cool side of it, right? I've seen kangaroos out in the outback. I've seen termite mounds that are like 10 and 12 feet high that are amazing.
They are
out in the middle of nowhere. I have seen, damn it, I cannot think of the name of the ox from Crocodile Dundee. Right, that's mounted on the bar. I've been to that bar. I have a picture of me with my hand on his horns Yes.
Good self-edit.
Thank you. I've seen, yeah, it was awesome. But yeah, there are some terrifying things there. Anyway, all right, moving on. Let's see.
You want to see Twitter? I have it up.
For what?
Or is that where you're on? Where
No.
are you?
No,
Read what you're
I'm
on.
in chat. Please,
know.
both of you, look at Twitter now.
That's what I'm trying to show you.
Who did that?
Brianna.
I hate you so
Oh, it's
much.
so good. I'm using this everywhere. Thank you.
You're terrible,
That's
Brianna.
amazing.
That's all right. Oh,
Charlie
hey.
the water buffalo.
Yes, thank you.
It's a water buffalo.
Yes.
Not an ox.
Did I say ox? I meant water buffalo. I knew he was. Anyway, Lacerda, by the way, thank you. Because I have been off the grid for the better part of a month. Jess and I would like to say thank you for the Christmas gift that you sent last year. Basically, last year sent a steak. He was the one that sent the gift card. So thank you very much. I did not thank you yet for that.
Last month, yeah.
So thank you very much for that. That was wonderful. That was a nice.
It was a
nice break.
wonderful, wonderful.
That was
night
really
out.
awesome. So
Yes.
thank you very much for that.
And he's now friends with all of the workers at the steakhouse because, of course, he is. And Bertucci's next door. Yeah, they know him by name, and hope he comes back soon.
Have any of y'all gone out to eat? So I since COVID, right? We have, not often, but we have, because sometimes you just gotta. And it's funny, you wear your mask in, you wear your mask out, you go to the restroom, you put your mask on. And I forget, I was watching one of the late night talk show hosts, and he was talking about how it's funny, how it's like COVID is like, whoa. You're sitting down to eat, so you have your mask off. No, we're not going to bother you while you're sitting down to eat, which is really stupid when you stop and think about it. But yeah, anyway, all right, that's all I got. Nice. Luke says, I've managed to get 2 plays of The Cost so far. It was great heavy cardboard discovery. Thanks for that one. You're welcome for that one, Luke. That one. And Janway says, hence, to piggyback on what Jess was saying, I think Girl Stampede is a great idea featuring females in the industry. I 100% agree. Always enjoy that show. My wife will watch Heavy Cardboard when J-Rex is on, but not usually otherwise.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I'm just saying you should come back on.
That's why I do it. Do you remember the royalty?
Jess hates streaming.
No, don't say that, and that's not true.
Okay.
I don't hate streaming. I just have other priorities.
Fair
I
point.
want
All right.
to get great games to gamers who will love them. I love developing. I love playtesting. I love rules editing. I love somewhat the publishing side of it, but in that I can make it easier for others. I love it. I love working with a team of people to create gaming experiences. And so when I spend a lot of time streaming takes a lot of time, guys. What Edward has been doing, that's the thing, is like, I feel like you always are like, I'm not doing enough. You're doing a reasonable amount. You used to do beyond a reasonable amount. And that's the problem. And you're not the only one who's a content creator facing this. So many content creators have to put so much into it. And there's a great interview that Ruel did with Christian Kang, where Christian gets really honest. And I recommend y'all listen to it if you haven't already. He gets really honest about getting burnt out in the industry and how, because there are some content creators that spend so much time building this content in this community and working on it to the detriment of every other area of their life, that then becomes the norm. And it's wonderful and we love this content, but it is not conducive to a good work-life balance. And with you conquering some mental health things and working on that and being open and honest about that, part of that is finding a better balance so that you can actually live a life and stream. And that's what I think people don't realize. The time it takes to stream. And
or just create content, even if it's not
whatever
live. But
yes. But
yeah,
in this case, we're talking about me being on streams. That I have to learn the game. I have to play the game multiple times. I need to understand the background of the game because I'm me. And if I'm going to talk to you about this game or voice my opinion in a roundtable, I don't want it to just be off the cuff. I want to have something valuable to say and provide. And so we take that seriously. And so this is a lot of time that goes in to these games to make sure that we're showcasing the games well. And yeah, that's just a lot of time on my plate when I'm doing, stuff that's not for profit, like the Zenobia Award, and trying to have impacts in other areas of the gaming world that I enjoy.
Sure.
So
fair point.
It's not that I hate streaming. It's just the amount of time, and I can see where you said that. I'm not trying to just argue with you here. What you see is me getting frustrated with the time it takes, and so then I complain because I'm like, we have to play it again. This is taking so much time. I really don't have time for this. So of course it comes across that I hate streaming. Do I? No, it's just I don't have all the time in the world to do all the things.
There you go. All right, Luke. Listening to others describe Australia as the best thing I will hear today. No competition. That was flawless. Mm-hmm. Last year, Caravan versus Camel Up versus Through the Desert. For me, Through the Desert.
Yes, Through the Desert by far. Caravan, different, very different. Why the heck people play Camel Up, I have no idea. I played it once with a group who said it was one of their favorite games. I bit my tongue the best I could. It didn't go well. It's not a game.
Through the Desert has a lot of depth to it and is very clever, and Camel Up is not.
Camel Up reminds me of, like, you know how you go to those rigged games that are like at the
Carnival,
mm-hmm. and you take the gun and you shoot the water at the hole. That's what you're doing. You're shooting water at a hole and letting the machine dictate who wins. It's just terrible.
Not a fan.
No.
Camel Up. No. All right. Jonathan, we will never go to Australia entirely due to my wife's terror of arachnids and my terror of marine life. I know it's not mostly like that, but still. Fair.
That's honestly fair. I was surprised at how much they were. I was like, nah, we're not going to see them ones running across the road. Oh my God. Like it was, yeah. They're everywhere.
By the way, kangaroo's delicious. If you've never eaten kangaroo.
No, don't say that. Don't eat kangaroos.
Kangaroos are delicious. It's the best meat I've ever had in my life.
No.
The end.
I
all right,
like you.
Brianna, all in fun, all in good fun. Hugs. Thank you. Water buffalo. Yep. Yeah, Brianna and Corey, they haven't eaten at a restaurant. Yep. Fair enough. Luke says, Girl Stampede, ask the dino. That would be cool.
Oh, Mike could do that.
Matt says, we've been out to eat in NYC, Phoenix, Houston, San Diego, and Napa since COVID started. It's interesting to see how rules are different in each area. Now, almost every place, not that we've gone to that many, but they have barriers up in the whole 9 yards. Everybody has to wear masks 24/7 unless you're physically, your butt is in the seat. And honestly, we actually keep our masks on until our drinks and food arrive and then put them right on.
Food. Yeah. And because of the governor's rules here, you have to be very far from others. Yeah. I actually wasn't. In the beginning, we didn't. Oh, gosh. I wouldn't go out, and we didn't.
Oh, God, it was like a couple of months ago.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then we started seeing how far away and how, it was like, okay.
But even so, see the accident that happened more often than not. Either I'm cooking, when I'm able to, or I pick something up to bring home. So,
yeah, mostly that is what is happening.
Let's see. At the worst, where do y'all buy 18XX? Amazon doesn't really have many. I live in Vancouver. Assuming you mean Vancouver, BC, and not Vancouver, Washington. Board Game Bliss or direct from the publishers usually is the places. So that would be...
There's been some Kickstarters.
Yeah, and Kickstarter. Yeah, there you go. That would be, If you're in Canada, Board Game Bliss, I think, can get them, but direct from the publishers. Jonathan, thank you for being Representative Jess. I'm sure it's hard to do that regularly, but it's much appreciated. I appreciate her hearing this from y'all as well, because sometimes it's easy to, just focus on the negatives. So it's nice hearing this, y'all. Thank you.
Yeah, sometimes it does get hard. There's definitely taking the flack, and Edward's no stranger to this. Like when you get people really getting personal or attacking you.
I mentioned that before you came down.
Yeah,
here.
it's really, really, it's an issue. And, unfortunately, some humans suck, and they're just going to suck the joy out of everything. And that's horrific, and sometimes I can deal with it better than others. Yeah.
Fire Lover, 689. Are there 688 other Fire Lovers?
That's just the numbers.
I know. Have you guys seen Astrologic Trilogy Kickstarter?
No.
3 super crunchy Euro hybrids I think you'd like a lot. First time I've ever heard of it. Jess is looking it up right now. Last year, back to work. Later's happy Saturnalia today. Oh, is today? Oh, today's the winter solstice. Happy Saturnalia. By the way, if you want some entertainment, go listen to The History of Rome, the entire podcast, and 179 episodes, I think it is. Best podcast still, my all-time favorite. But listen to the Saturnalia episode. I think that's hysterical. Unless you're highly religious, then maybe don't listen to that.
So we got Dragon Brood, Warhounds, and Shaman. 3 brand new games. Single campaign.
Who's the publisher?
Astrologic.
Oh, Astrologic. Okay, that's a name. Got it.
And then
okay.
it's their trilogy of games.
Carla, apparently, wasn't logged into YouTube. Logged into YouTube. Logging in to say I completely agree with you regarding Camel Up.
Oh, thank you, Carla.
Carla just came in just to chime in.
I love you, Carla. Seriously, right? And I felt so bad because they were really enjoying it. And I'm watching what's happening, and I'm like, you're not accomplishing anything. Like, you literally think you're not doing. Oh, goodness. I wouldn't even make my kids play that game. Honestly, they'd probably laugh at me and be like, what? No, what are the real rules?
Michael says, kangaroo is phenomenal. Thank you. It's delicious.
No.
Rocky says, almost got a pair of Vibrams they had offered in kangaroo leather. Carla, for Ed the Worst and for other Canadians, Core Games apparently will special order 18XX games. So,
good.
There you go, Core Games.
Moin from Berlin.
I was going to say Guten Morgen, but it's not. It's Guten Evening. Uwe? When can we hope to see a playthrough of the latest Coffee Traders version, Dan asks. Hoping to see it works before the pre-orders close. So, Dan, I actually specifically covered this. I mentioned in the guild that I would 99% going to do that. I completely walked back from that. In other words, I took it back. The reason being, it's too much to manage for me to do remotely. I can't run the game for 3+ players. It's just too much, and it's not going to present well. So probably not going to happen before the pre-orders close because we're not having people over here at HCHQ. It's just Jess and I. And if Jess wanted to do a 2-player of Coffee Traders, she doesn't need to answer. I'm not putting her on this.
It's 3.
Oh, you're right. It's 3. Yeah, you're right. So never mind. So I would say very slim.
The only thing I can think of is if I sat over here off camera and literally ran stuff for the other 2 players and you did your own.
It's still going to be so hard for them to see it. Yeah.
No, I think you can see it. It's just a matter of you moving all the pieces plus planning your turn and moving your pieces is too much.
Okay, so maybe. We'll say it as a maybe.
But if I were there...
So, like, Jess is like Vanna, for lack of a better way to put it, for that.
Even if they were, like, on a half... they're in my ear, too, so that I can know what's coming up and doing. But it would take some managing, guys. So we would have to see if that's even doable. Okay,
so there you go. And to be honest with you, the game hasn't changed dramatically enough from when we did the...
Go back and watch when we played with Rolf. The mechanisms are still
mostly the same.
There are certain things that changed, but they're developmental, not the game play itself. So you'll be okay going back and watching what was there before, and you will get an idea of whether this game is for you.
There you go. Have you watched Tenet, and what did you think? I got to be honest. I saw the trailer, so Tenet was supposed to be like the big first release of 2020 movie-wise. At no point during watching that did I think, ooh, that looks good. I have not seen it, but I'll be honest, like if it were free on like Netflix or something, I would stop and watch it. I did watch The Foreigner, which was kind of cheesy, but enjoyed it. It's Jackie Chan, so yay. I did enjoy that recently. But Tenet really didn't grab me. I would watch it, but I haven't yet. By the way, speaking of series that I have kind of watched recently, started watching Midnight Diner, I think, which is a Japanese show that is kind of hokey and cheesy, but kind of cute. And another animated one that I didn't know I would enjoy, but I am. It's called Love...
Robots.
Love... Oh God, it's 3 words. Love something robot in robots on Netflix. That's actually, I'm really enjoying that.
Love, Death, and Robots.
Love, Death, and Robots. There you go. I forget she's mic'd up. I don't have to repeat it. Yes, we are still going. It's only been 3.5 hours, Joe. So there. Some people just enjoy the social aspect and don't need any sort of game to play. Randomly determining outcomes together can sometimes be fun.
That's fair.
Camel up.
Yep,
there you go.
And that's what I saw people do. That's just not for me. And that's another good thing to know about me if you're trying to buy games based on my recommendations. Oh, but I really like Camel Up. Jess really doesn't. I really like Great Western Trail. Jess really doesn't. Like, those are things to know.
There we go. And is it Moin? Is that how you say it? Is it Moin, Steph, and Uwe? All right, that makes sense. Okay.
Guten Tag.
Yeah. All right, good to know. Guten Abend is like good night or good evening. Okay, there we go. Jess, favorite new to you game of 2020 that you've played so far?
Dinosaur Table Battles.
There you go. Is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
Yeah.
Yes. Love, Death, and Robots. I love that show. There you go. See? There you go. All right, we are caught up. Brianna, I love having these streams because I'm enjoying the interaction and not feeling alone during the workday.
Yes.
Also, why I do these during the weekday and not during the weekend. Because it tends to be, more people tend to be alone during the weekday, and I thought that would be a good way to do it. So that's why I try and do these during the weekday. So there you go.
Yep.
Do I have a favorite episode? I'm only 3 episodes in Love, Death, and Robots.
I like the first one.
Yeah, I showed last night. In fact, I showed Jess 3 robots. That was awesome. That's really good. That was really cute. Zima Blue is Papaver. Zima Blue. When we get to it, I will report back. All right, that's it. We have to go clean up a dog mess downstairs. I can smell it because snow. And I need to make dinner. We're having stuffed shells tonight. I am super excited for that. And a salad. I'm hungry.
I am too. I got a headache. I got a food headache.
We will fix that. All right. So I need to go find Chicago Express and get ready for tomorrow as well. So thank you, everybody that hung out. If you guys enjoyed it, give it a thumb down below. Subscribe, hit the bell notification, all that stuff. Support the show. I certainly do appreciate it. And yeah, I'm just going to flat out say it. I have a car payment coming up now that I didn't have for the last few years.
I just want to grow the community. I mean, you guys get to join us in Slack and talk about games. And these are the conversations that are happening there. So I do hope more folks will consider joining. You want to get a family member into games, give them a gift membership to the Heavy Cardboard so they can join in the Slack, talk about games. I mean, that's a way to get representation going, right? Get more women in there. I get so excited when I see, more diverse folks in there. I love you all, but I do really, really love it when I see people like on something I post or, you know, a thread that, you know, is female or BIPOC or what have, and I'm like, yay, this is great. It feels good. So join us. And you'd be surprised what's in there. It's a blast.
There you go. All right. I should hire you. I can't afford you, but I should hire you. All right. Awesome. Thank you, everybody. That was fun. And thank you, Jess, for impromptu joining me. First ever time on an Ask the Elephant. Mm-hmm. Yay. That was fun.
Thank
Thanks.
you for having me. I appreciate it.
I didn't have a choice, but I'm glad you did it. I am.
I hope you are.
I am.
didn't
I
take
very
too
much
time.
am. So thank you,
right.
even if you wouldn't let me turn the camera on. All right. Cool. You guys, have a great one. Social distance, wear your masks, be kind to one another. And if you're in the Northeast, and by the Northeast I mean like Pennsylvania on up or whatever, and got hammered with the snow, be safe. Remember not to overheat, because snow shoveling is a ton of work. Surprisingly so. All right, take care. See you all tomorrow night for Chicago Express. Good night,
Bye,
everybody. Whee!
That was fun.
That was nice. Thank you. That was a happy surprise.
Go
Yay.
jump in some snow.